I'm doing it. We're live.
You're doing it?
We're live and vibing.
Yeah.
All my sound is working now, which is bound to happen once. Yeah.
So I did watch the previous cast and I saw that I dined and dashed. I apologize.
Wait, what?
Absolutely.
I dined and dashed on
What
the
do you
last
mean?
movie, according to you guys.
Double down on that.
Oh, yeah. He suggested the last movie and then didn't come on the
I felt
episode
like
to
it
watch
was
it.
an equal suggestion from Daryl and I.
Yeah. You know,
it was a joint suggestion.
yeah, it was good. You know what?
Are you saying
It
that
was-
like you fucking ran out on the child that was your thought?
Shot
Daryl was the
child.
one stuck to shoulder the burden.
He was the foster mom.
It was a joyful burden.
It was a joyful burden. I love that movie. It's a cute movie.
But
was that?
one thing I did like is that Danon said that About Time was a bit too lifey for him. And then this movie is many lifey.
Well,
Yeah.
This movie actually feels like a very natural like progression from are we live yet?
We are live. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because
We can
already
delve.
talking about
Yeah.
the movie.
If y'all want to delve, we can delve. I'm just doing some
Uh,
social media stuff and pouring more
yeah.
coffee.
I was just saying that this movie feels like a very natural progression of About Time, because like our conversation last time was kind of like about the nature of immortality and like if you could do anything that you wanted. Like
Talked a lot about the what
Are you
ifs.
French pressing?
yeah.
So Ben,
And now
this
here we
movie
are.
is the origin story of King the Conqueror. And it's you.
Oh man, I didn't realize that nothing in Marvel survives past 2092. That's pretty weird.
Wow, spoiler alert.
Based on About Time and this film, I already have our next film recommendation.
Is it Time Crimes? Is it Time Crimes number 2?
No, it is not Time Crimes.
That would be
Again?
hilarious.
It's actually
Cool if
Jacob's
there
Ladder.
was.
Oh,
I've never seen that. Never
This
seen that.
movie
Down with
reminded me of
Jacob's Ladder.
Jacob's Ladder the whole time I was watching it. Just a lighter version of it.
So what's funny, when we were reviewing The Green Knight and talking about fever dream movies, Jacob's Ladder was one on my mind as
Oh,
like
really?
a really good fever dream movie.
I love Jacob's
That
Ladder.
and,
Yeah, fantastic.
Altered States.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I have a question for the class.
Yes, class.
Do you guys ever make something and then you're like, it's done, and then you like look at it maybe a week later and you're like, that's not fucking done, and you like take
Everything
it down
I
and you,
make.
like, you go do it again and
everything.
you like
Everything I've ever made in my life, where I'm like, oh, okay,
Anyone
wash
who's
my hands of
creative.
this, put it out. You know, I put my stuff up on Instagram and stuff, and then like the next day, I'm just like, wow, that was edited terribly.
For
They're
sure.
like, wow, that has a
For
lot of
sure.
yellow in it. It didn't have any yellow in it yesterday. It's weird. Doesn't make any
Same
sense,
thing with
right?
my urine.
Yeah.
Drink
Yeah.
water,
This
kids.
is-
My
This
brother,
is the shortest that's ever happened to me. I posted something like a few hours ago and I was looking at it while watching the movie and I was like, I need to fix that.
I try to sit on stuff, right? I try to force myself to sit on stuff, but it's hard sometimes. You know, give it a day or two.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But my me and Doug's excuse me, brother is in video games, and there's been many times where they lost stuff, you know, hard drives crash, whatever in the old days.
Oh
And
yeah.
they had a rule that it was always better the second time around, because it
Hmm.
made you redo it and go, oh shit, this
Yeah.
is, we missed this the first, you know, all that.
That
shit
does
out.
happen a
So,
lot, though. If you if you ever lose progress on something that you've been working on, especially on a computer, if like program crashes or something, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm still in the middle of this. I'll just load it back up, you know, load the autosave, and then keep going. And you're like, oh wow, this is way better than what I was working on previously.
I've
happens
lost
a lot to
edits
me.
Yeah.
before and had to re-edit, and I was like, oh shit,
Mhm.
I've discovered a bunch of stuff that I didn't discover the first time around. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, there is the opposite problem too, right? Because if you sit on something for too long, then you hyperanalyze it, and then it
Uh-huh, and
never
then you-
gets out there.
Hmm.
or you
Yep.
over tweak it,
You
Yep.
over tweak
Oh,
it, and
God,
then it is
overtweak
just
it.
this monstrosity,
and then it's a mess.
this
and
this
you don't even-
Frankenstein thing that you've passed over way too many times.
Yeah.
So it is about. I feel like it's a fine line of like, you got to sit on it a little bit, but also not be afraid to finally pull the trigger. And
Well, you don't want to sit on something if you're finished with something. You don't want to sit on for 6 months. That, you know,
Right,
it's
right.
because you're right. The same thing will happen where you overanalyze it, and then you either never put it out or you ruin it. So
yeah,
I find that the work that I'm most proud of is work that I just like, I hit like, you know, that flow and I just do it really fast, like way faster than anything else I've made. And then like I'm just like I've got it, and then I'm like okay, cool, this is done. And then there are other times where I'm like I want to do something good, and it's like no matter how much energy you put into it, you're just like this is bad, and it will always be bad. And that those are the horrible parts of creating, and like the other one is like the best parts of creating. It's just like so miserable sometimes.
The worst part is the shit that you think is your best stuff and you're most proud of, and no one cares. And the dumbest shit. Like, so me and my twin brother, 1,000 years ago, used to play guitar and write songs and everything. We play coffee shops, we play parties and things like that. And we had this song called Lady, and it was basically a rip-off of Desire by U2. It was the stupidest song ever. It was, and we just repeated the same shit over and over again. That's the song people liked. Not the shit we worked hard on, that we thought was clever.
That was really
and really
original.
cool and original.
Yeah,
The dumb shit, the stupid. They're like, I like that one song you guys do, Lady. And we're like, fuck, that sucks. That's our shittiest.
The worst thing
stupidest
you could have told
songs.
me.
And that's the one we would play because they liked it. Even like I said, it was basically we just ripped off Desire by U2 accidentally. You know, we were inspired
It's really
by
funny
it.
with music in general because there's so many times where I'll listen to a song on like that's suggested by Spotify. It's like in my Discover Weekly or something. I like stumble into it, you know, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, what a great song! Like, I want to go see what the rest of this artist's like body of work is, and none of it even comes close to
all
the.
Yeah,
It's
all
all bullshit.
Yeah,
the
and it's like
worst.
I'm like, how did I spent a long time thinking like, how does this happen? And I think I've realized is that like the artist is like just going for something totally different. They accidentally stumble into this like idea that really appeals to me, but it actually wasn't ever their vision. So I think inevitably they probably fucking hate those songs. Like
It's the
one-hit
catfish on
Probably.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
other thing, it just used to happen all the time in the old days too. They were called one-hit wonders. We don't really have those anymore. I guess we do, but in a different way. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where you buy the album, and the whole album would be completely different from this one song. You know, they just hit it out of the park in this one song, or you'd have like I always refer back to Radiohead, the Bends, because that was back when I love that fucking album so much. But I mean, even you can feel like when you've listened to it 5,000 times on both tape and CD and then digitally, that every song where they're at in the lineup was planned.
Yeah.
It sure feels like it.
Yeah.
Like what? Like when you go back and listen, you're like, wow, this truly is an intro to a whole body of work,
Yeah.
song. This isn't a mistake that they made. They're like, no, this has to go first. They all feel like they're in the right fucking spot. In fact,
Yeah.
the last song on the album is Street Spirit Fade Out, and it feels like the last song.
Yeah. Well, I've been obsessed with that concept. When Dana and I were in a band, I would like
We've
talk
talked about this before. Yeah.
Many
constantly,
times.
Yeah. You know, and it really bothers me when I listen to an album where they clearly didn't put that work in.
Yeah.
And it's
I think
just
it
like,
matters.
oh, dude, it drives me nuts. It
It,
really
it
does.
also bothers Ben when I just press shuffle.
Brent will do that. Brent will listen to albums on shuffle, and
You
it
listen
will
to
be
albums
surprised.
on
shuffle.
Well, I
Not
like to
the-
be surprised.
Not the first like 20 times of listening to it, but at some point it's like
Oh,
I
I see what
hate
you're
when I
saying.
hear a song and then I already hear the next song in my head. And it's like I just like to be surprised sometimes. Just,
Do you
I think it shows
fucking
that.
watch
Well, then-
movies?
Then why
What
not
are you
just-
talking
Do you shuffle
about?
the chapters of a DVD?
That is actually a great intro to this movie because it
Yeah.
is.
That's
on
what this.
shuffle.
That's
It is
what
on
this
shuffle.
movie
Yeah,
felt
that's-
like.
This movie
yeah.
is on shuffle.
And it's equally dumb.
I got fucking duped into this. Now we just segued into the
Strong
movie.
feelings.
I-
Strong
I
feelings.
think it depends on your personality and your life experiences and everything. Because yeah, I don't like if it's especially if it depends, right? If it's just you're driving or whatever. Yeah, shuffle's great for many different styles of songs. Excuse me, but I'm drinking a lot of beer, so. But if I can't listen to the Bends, I can't listen to the Bends without listening from start to finish. I cannot shuffle the Bends. It's impossible.
That's fair. A lot of the albums I grew up with, I would never do that too. I won't
Yeah.
go on shuffle. It's a lot of new music that I'm finding on Discover Weekly. Just like we're
Yeah.
talking about, you hear one song, it's like that's fine. Let's play random artists and
Well,
just have them all
I've
looped
stopped
in.
listening to new music, except for what Danon throws my way or my daughters throw
Mhm.
my way, like 20 fucking years ago.
Mhm.
Unless it's brought to me, I don't even discover new shit because I'm old and I'm set in my ways, and I like to listen to shit that I can either be nostalgic about, or you know, have an emotional connection to,
Mhm.
like the Bends or a lot of Beatles songs. You know, it's funny though, like the Beatles one was truly my first Beatles album.
Same.
And
Mhm.
so that one is the one I listen to, even though it's all over the place. I have
It's
to
all
listen to that
there.
one in order to.
It's like all their teeny boppy stuff, and it's like just a collection of.
Then all their.
That's not. It's not entirely true. It's not entirely true.
It's just like it's from the start of the Beatles to the end of the Beatles.
Yeah,
Pretty much what it is. I mean,
it's a
they cherry picked the best songs. You know, best is
Well,
subjective.
they're-
I
but-
they're
thought
number one
Beatles
hits.
One was the collection of songs that they had like
Mm-mm.
put together the first time, because like the first two Beatles albums aren't really albums; they're just like collections of songs that they performed, right? Isn't that a thing?
No,
I don't know. I
no,
don't
they're
think so. I think
they're
they
actual
they-
albums. Can you turn yourself up a little bit, Ben? You're a bit
Yeah.
quiet.
You were really loud. Now you're really quiet.
Trying to find like the sweet spot because I don't want to blow out everybody's ears.
No, bring it on.
Don't worry, you'll be yelling soon enough.
Mhm.
Blow our ears
Yeah.
out, so.
So let me just start this thing off then. Okay, so this is the We
Oh,
Like
yeah.
This podcast. We watched Mr. Nobody. I am Dana Waters. Wait. I'm joined by myself, Dana Waters, Brent Price, Douglas Waters, Jeremy Dallas, Ben Nickerson, and Daryl Waters. Okay, there we go. Intro, movie,
Done.
Mr. Nobody.
Um,
Let's do
Mr.
it.
Nobody. Is the reason why they called it Mr. Nobody because nobody wanted to watch it?
Strong feelings. Strong feelings just right out of the gate. I'm glad
If you
that
look
Brent
at
liked
the
this
box
movie.
office numbers, I would say that's yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody.
Yes,
This is
uh,
definitely a cult classic. You know,
So it's a weird thing. I thought about this rewatching this movie, that it fits the movies I see at film festivals, which are generally weird.
yeah.
And they're gonna mess with your mental state in terms of like, it's not a palate cleansing movie. It's not popcorn. It's weird. And
It's
it'll
offensive,
linger with
yeah.
you for a little bit. And a lot of movies at like genre film festivals like Fantastic Fest in Austin are exactly like this movie.
Yeah, it's very
and so-
surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
So-
you know, I'm not. I don't want to. I was kind of kidding, and I just wanted to do a dumb joke.
I want to do a really quick room poll because I feel like this is a very polarizing movie. I feel like people
Yeah,
are
it has
either
that
like
potential.
not gonna like it at all, or they're gonna really identify with certain bits of it. I just want to room poll who liked it. I liked this movie. Brent liked it.
Yep.
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was a fine
Wow,
movie.
it's like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, and this is
The
kind of
girls on the left, the boys on the right.
It's kind
How
of a
dare you? I
complicated
sip
like.
my coffee.
It's a like with caveats.
It's very watching it again and watching it critically, there are things that I like less about it than I liked the first few times that I've seen this movie, but I still really like this movie.
Well, Dana's been telling me about this movie for a long time, and
Mhm.
I tried watching it years ago, and I pretty much pretty much giving a sleeping movie in about 10 minutes. And then today was a shitting movie. Not that I didn't like it. Well, I had diarrhea. So it's not that I didn't like it per se. I had trouble. I definitely like today. Even without the diarrhea, I had trouble staying with it. I just was like,
First off, I do want to say I think it is a little too long.
Is it very
Like
long,
it's a
right?
lot of surreal,
Mhm.
and a lot of length.
That's
There's
the
a lot of
director's cut, which I watched, is 156 minutes.
I
a
saw
lot
that,
of
and I
minutes.
was like, "There's no fucking way."
That's what I watched.
That
This
pig.
was the first time I saw the director's cut.
Me
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
This seemed to be the only one available that I could find anywhere was the director's cut. I was like, can
Oh,
I?
really?
For once, I just want the theatrical.
Give me the shortest version.
You know, it's funny, really quick. I love Gladiator. I love that movie. There's a director's cut that is not good.
Really?
It
Hmm.
adds
Same thing
in
with the
so
first
much-
Lord of the Rings movie. It's the theatrical first Lord of the Rings movie all the
Yeah.
way. If you think
Well,
otherwise,
that's a
fight me.
different opinion. I'm theatrical all three movies, but yeah,
Mhm.
the director's cut, or maybe it's just the extended cut, not the director's cut. The
Mm.
extended cut of Gladiator is way too fucking long and has too much extra shit that you didn't need. And I see why they cut it out.
Got it.
Like there's this whole scene where Commodus orders all these soldiers to kill all these people, and it's like, all right, we got it already. We know Commodus is
Yeah.
a piece of shit. So I'm glad they cut that stuff out. So yeah, when I saw director's cut on this today, I was like, there's no fucking way. I think the movie's already 2 hours and 19 minutes.
It's pretty long.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just think there's a lot of movies that do what this movie tried to do a lot better. Jacob's Ladder being one of them. God damn it, I forget. I've talked about it before.
Butterfly effect, clearly.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Butterfly Effect honestly did do
Oh.
a good job. At this
I
episode, I'm
listen.
not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I like the Butterfly Effect. It's a fun movie to watch.
Is that the one with
It's like the,
Jacob
Ashton
Kirshner?
Kutcher.
That's it.
Ashton
Yeah.
Thank
Kutcher.
you.
yeah.
Jacob
And
Kushner.
and
Yeah.
the smart Amy Smart.
That actually,
Yeah.
that movie did leave a little bit of a scar on me the first time I watched it.
You
There's
put your
like-
hands through them.
Well, yeah, it's the popular science of the butterfly effect. Literally, like it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not particularly deep or like philosophical or anything like that, but it hits like some of the like high level like philosophy things about the butterfly effect and
Yeah,
choice.
It makes you feel
and-
like you
and,
thought during that movie,
Yeah,
but it's
and then, like,
literally just like spoon
makes
feeding
you
you.
feel like you
And then
thought.
Yeah.
full of really
Wow.
entertaining scenes. Like honestly, we talk about this all the time, but like in terms of like movies, like it hits some beats that are kind of thoughtful. At least it gets stuff like conscionably in the ballpark when it comes to like the topic matter. But then also it's just entertaining as fuck. Like
Yeah.
that's a
Mhm.
good movie by
Yeah,
any stretch of the
and,
imagination.
Yeah.
I've
And,
seen that movie
um,
like 10 times.
Well, yeah, I've seen it a few times. I like that. I like it. Spoiler alert: he does at the end, and I think that's important. I think if there was that movie had a happy ending, like he ended up with Amy Smart and everything was great, I would hate the fucking movie. But the fact that
yeah.
it ends the way it ends is great
Well,
because it
we
ends
were-
exactly how it had to.
We were
Which,
talking
yeah,
about
he had to die.
we were talking about the theatrical cut versus the director's cut, and in Butterfly Effect, it's in the director's cut that he dies at the end, not in the theatrical cut.
Oh, yeah,
really?
In the
Yeah,
Yeah,
director's
in,
cut,
in,
is-
in the theatrical cut, he's
that's
walking
annoying.
down like the city road and he walks past Amy Smart and leaves her alone.
yeah, he just doesn't talk to her. But in the director's cut, he kills himself as a baby. He like wraps the umbilical
Oh,
cord.
yeah.
around his-
maybe all I've ever seen is the director's cut, or I forgot the theatrical and
Yeah.
only seen the, and then
Well-
watched the director's cut and liked it better. I
That's
don't know.
surprising.
It's one of the
Yeah.
classic takes on the internet that the director's cut is by far and away the correct way for that movie to have ended. So like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're definitely hitting it on the head. Like no one would ever watch the theatrical cut over the director's cut for that particular movie.
Mhm.
You know, again, like we're talking about, it depends on the film, right? Like the first Lord of the Rings film is the theatricals way better than the directors or extended or whatever the hell it is, right?
Yep.
And then Blade Runner, the director's cut is my favorite version of that.
Yeah.
Even though
Mhm.
the first version I saw was the theatrical, of course, when I was 13, and it made a huge impression. I mean, it's my number one favorite film of all time.
Yeah.
But the director's cut, which came out in '92, we've definitely talked about this before too. Went and saw in the theaters and like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to fucking be. This is how it should have been the whole goddamn time. And I knew that right when I was watching it, especially when I was watching it and there was no narration. I already knew I'm like, this
Yeah.
is correct.
Well, see,
I feel like Blade Runner has inserted like a hatred for narration into the Waters family. somehow.
No. Mine doesn't come from
I love it.
Blade Runner. I just
I
like
love
being
it.
able to watch a movie and understand what's going on the screen without somebody telling me what's going on the screen.
Yeah,
can't stand that.
I just
Give, see, because the opposite of that. No.
Crazy.
Because the difference of that is Dexter, the TV show.
Yeah.
The narration in that is his thoughts, and so it's very artistic
Yeah.
and it's very poetic, and it's kind of like it gives you a different dimension to this character that I really like. He's not telling you what's happening on the screen. That drives me nuts. Like Looper is a great example of that, where they're telling you about the world, and
Oh, gosh.
you're literally looking at it. You're looking at
Yeah.
the world that
I
he's
way
describing,
too
and
much
it's like, dude,
narration.
I can. This isn't closed
and
captioned.
And the world of Looper is not so crazy that you needed the
Pretty easy. Yeah.
You know, now it's Ryan Johnson though, and I hate that motherfucker. So in his big fat stupid head,
Big fat stupid head.
Makes one bad Star
fat,
Wars movie.
stupid fucking around head. No, I didn't think Knives Out was good either. Everybody jizzing
I thought it was
over Knives
okay.
Out. It's
I thought it was
not great either. It's not great. Looper's okay.
Looper's great. I love Looper. James loves
Dan
Looper
loves
too.
Looper.
James says
James-
Looper is amazing. Thank you,
Can
James.
suck it.
Shit.
How about that, James?
I'm kidding, James. I love it. Which James? Which James?
Kieran?
the James that we all know and love.
Oh, I love that guy.
Uh-huh.
What
I
did you
forget
think
him.
about Brick? Did you ever see Brick?
I didn't like
actually
Brick.
did like Brick.
I
never
didn't like
seen it.
Brick at all because it took place in San Clemente, and I couldn't. There was not a single second of that movie that I was watching where I was like, "This is like
You told me
home.
about this.
And it
Yeah.
threw me off it threw the entire mood off of the movie, because I do realize that it's a very well done movie and the concept is really interesting and the setting is very interesting, but I just like, I drove past that high school almost
Yeah.
every day to go to work, and I'm like, I can't not. It looks like a student film. I mean, it essentially was, but I couldn't get that out of my head.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks like college students made it, you know? So I just couldn't.
That's
I
fair.
couldn't get into the movie itself. It was really annoying, actually.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to like this, but I can't because it.
It's like this. It's I think we've talked about this before too. Backdraft. Do you guys remember Backdraft? It's really
Oh,
old
yeah.
Yeah.
now.
Love that movie.
So a friend of mine from 1,000 years ago, he hated it because it was a firefighter and it wasn't realistic. And I was like, yeah, a real, there's no such thing as living flame. So the movie would probably be boring otherwise. I don't think the movie's really about that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And we talked about this before too. We're like the Dallas Buyers Club. That all right's character
McConaughey.
is. Thank you.
Jeez.
Is an electrician, and they don't exactly accurately portray how. But I didn't care because who cares? It's a movie.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the movie too. I forgave it because it was a movie. Some movies I don't forgive because I think they need to do better. Again, that's a bit of art in movies. It's
Yeah.
based on your own personal experience, and it's based on your even your mood at the time.
Like, I will never
yeah.
criticize hackers as a software engineer.
Thank God,
dude. I fucking love hackers. I love
mean,
hackers.
World, man.
Yeah.
Hackers is even back in the day. Okay, so I saw it back in the day.
Yeah.
Even then, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But right, Doug. But it still
Definitely.
felt.
It was
Dude,
great.
it still felt so fucking technologically advanced.
Every
Like,
monitor is
now-
a projector on your face.
they did that in Alien.
They did do that.
Yeah.
They did in Alien.
Have you guys seen
True.
The Net recently?
Oh,
Oh,
Mm-mm.
that's
That's
another
a fun
one.
one to revisit. I watched The Net
Okay.
the other week.
Yeah.
Oh, with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think it knows anything about the internet, that movie.
No.
It's not the point.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It had America's Sweetheart in it, Sandra Bullock, and that's all that matters.
Mhm.
Speaking of sweethearts, let's get back to the movie that we watched.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We watched the movie Mr. Nobody.
I mean, we could go for 20 minutes like we normally do, and then talk about the
Yeah.
movie. But
I do want to. I did have some thoughts about the movie that I wanted to share because I thought they were pretty interesting. Like,
do it.
The one thing that I really found fascinating about the movie was like the consistency of the kind of person that nobody is in every like path that he walks down. I thought it was like the way that they found ways to make him consistent as like a person. I thought was really interesting. Like he was always a very kind person as an adult, but always a complete fucking shitlord as a child. Which I thought whatever life he was examining, it was always like, I'm a fucker when I'm a teenager, and then like once I've gotten past this certain point, I'm very kind and caring and creative in all the realities except for the one where he becomes rich. He's really funny when he's rich. It's not even that he's like an asshole though. He's just like completely detached from everything.
Yeah.
And so like I thought that like just creatively, I think that's a really interesting aspect because like he becomes a photographer in several of his lives with Anna. He after he loses Elise and he finds himself with free time, he becomes an orator for like a History Channel thing, and he also becomes.
I would watch that show all day
Yeah.
long.
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah.
one of
Loved
the more
that
interesting
show.
parts
Yeah,
of the
that
whole
was
movie.
Yeah,
Can we
I was like,
just-
Was
I was
going
gonna
I
say,
just
like,
want a little
at the same
supercut
time.
of those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
and
we
those
just
little
Great.
things.
this
Really
show
quick,
instead of
James
movie?
says that the movie needed more 30 Seconds to Mars, and I agree with him.
You know what's funny?
Missed
that
opportunity
he-
for the
that James
soundtrack.
mentioned that is the Joker kid. What's his name?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto took a break from acting after this movie to focus on 30 Seconds of Mars.
30 Seconds
Thank
of
God.
Mars.
30 seconds between Mars. So what do we talked about this, I think we talked about this last time of what
we talked
everybody
about this
thought
last
the
week.
meaning of the name was. 30
Yeah.
seconds
Yeah.
to Mars.
Danon and Jeremy both thought it was 30 seconds from here to Mars instead of it's 30 seconds until we reach Mars.
Like,
Why
they've
do I
already
feel
gone-
dumb again? Why do
like
I
they've
feel dumb
already
again?
gone 9 months.
I still stand by it. I
Yeah.
still think that's what it means.
You guys are idiots.
Hey, no.
Like you've
It's
already
up
got
to
9 months. And you
interpretation.
got what? How much to Mars? Oh, dude, 30
It's-
seconds.
It's
It's
30
only
Martian
it's only a
seconds.
30-second trip, dude. I don't know why you're
Yeah,
freaking
that's
out
why
about
it's
this.
funny because it's ridiculous. That's
Yeah.
why it's artistic liberty. You know, like
Yeah.
of course it's preposterous.
James, what did you think the
All right,
name?
the thing
I wanna
is,
hear
I
it.
really
I want to hear from the
wanna hate
chat.
Jared
From the
Leto.
chat, what did people think the name 30 Seconds to Mars meant? Is it 30 seconds to Mars, like it's a 30-second trip, or are you 30 seconds away from Mars?
I mean, the second answer is always correct, no matter the context.
Is that what at the end?
I mean, it's subjective. You don't know. Maybe we're
You're
both
right.
right.
If it's 30 seconds until Mars, like until we get there, if Mars is 30 seconds away, or if it's fucking. 8
Oh,
months
okay.
away.
You're using mind powers,
I'm just mind powers.
also known
It's
as
called-
thinking.
Yeah, it's called thought and reason. Yeah.
So, and
Wow.
don't bring time into this.
Dude, you took a
Oh,
page
man.
out of my book.
Oh man.
Right? I don't know what to call something.
Those two are related.
And
Mind
there's the
trick.
Star Wars. Thank you,
Oh
Jeremy.
man.
I'm,
Jeez.
I'm glad that he took a break from action to do 30 Seconds to Mars. I think that was a good band. So
Yeah.
some good songs.
What if
I don't know
wanted
anything
to
about 30
take-
Seconds to Mars, by the way. I have no idea what any of their
I
songs
really wish Jared Leto wasn't
there any good
so
ones?
talented at so many things. Like I want to hate him.
Yeah. He's
But
unhateable.
he's
He's one of
honestly
those
great.
guys.
Good.
He's a terrible joker, but he's one of those guys that's unhateable.
Did you notice him practicing the Joker laugh
In this
Oh, for
movie,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Forever.
He can only do
Yeah.
one character laugh, and that's
Mhm.
it's it.
Well,
I mean,
you
it's-
know,
it's-
one
it's
thing
shitty
is
as-
true about Jared Leto is that you can always just hate him as a person.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
He's
But
pretty
I
weird.
don't know him as a person.
He's
I don't
pretty
know him as a
weird.
person.
Pretty seems by all accounts to be kind of an asshole. So there's at least
Yeah.
that.
Well, he's no Canoe Reeves, that's for sure.
Mm.
Oh no.
He's no Keanu. Yeah, he doesn't
No
have
No,
that
no one
quite,
is though.
quite that charm.
He
But
even
if- but I
does.
mean-
he even does rock climbing with pro rock climbers, and I want to hate him for that too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he climbs with Alex Honnold, and yeah,
Who is this guy?
yeah.
Well, you know what, Jared Leto? I've never fucking listened to your band, so like, fuck you.
Not bad. What's that song that
Honestly,
they
you
have?
should.
Got him.
You
Marry Me?
should.
Is it "Marry Me"?
Bury me.
That's one.
I don't.
Okay,
I
that's a good
literally
song.
don't know any 30 Seconds to Mars songs. I just played their top one. It's called The
Clearly, you
Kill.
haven't played Rock
The
Band.
Kill. That's what it's
Great song.
called.
Great
Yes.
song.
Mhm.
And it's funny because in this movie he goes to Mars
Mm.
Yeah.
True.
to
Yeah.
dump
Ben,
off.
Ben,
a
you
bunch
go
of
Interesting.
bitches.
Ben goes to emo nights in Austin all the time, and they have to play 30 Seconds to Mars like
At
every
least the
night.
kill.
That's good emo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've never
Good
won
straight
Oh
emo.
my god.
Well,
But
Brent,
you
we
kill-
had this conversation.
This
off
is one of those
camera.
bands
This
that
is-
if I played one of their songs for you, you'd probably go, "Oh yeah, that song."
But he just did it. He just
I
did the
just
thing.
listened to the song and I have no idea.
Yeah,
What
we
the fuck
had
it
we
is.
had about a 3-day discussion about this in Colorado.
Yeah, they were playing.
Oh,
what were you
okay.
playing for me?
311.
Brent? 311.
Oh, so
I had
many- so many
never
things.
heard a 311 song.
Mhm.
You've never heard a lot of songs.
I mean, I
Zabba
probably
zabba
heard
zabba
it, but like, it
zabba.
didn't even click in my head. Like, I didn't
Zabba
know it.
zabba
heard
zabba
Amber?
zabba zabba zabba.
Amber.
listen to
Yeah, that's
K-Rock?
weird.
Well, I didn't grow
Amber-
up
oh,
in
yeah.
Orange County, so
Yeah, he didn't.
Amber
he-
is the color of your urine stream. That song?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, that start. I remember now.
Wait, I know
Yeah.
that one.
But
I know you're in.
yeah, I didn't know Amber is the color of your skin or whatever, and they played it for me, and they were like, "No,
This-
no, no, you'll get it once the chorus comes around," and like the whole song finished, and I was like, "I've never heard that." in my life."
How could you have never heard that? It was on
we played a
100,000
ton of
times a
music
day.
that Ben never heard, like from The Cure,
Mm.
Yeah.
Joy Division,
some
tons
Joy
of 90s hits. Yeah.
Where's Ben been his whole
Oh.
life?
Yeah, that you know what? I just thought
In
of
the
one the other
desert.
day that would blow your mind, Brent. Modest Mouse. I don't know Modest Mouse songs.
Holy
And I
fuck.
listen to bands that have been so heavily influenced by Modest Mouse, and I just never got around to listening.
I am
I
as
don't know what
old
to
as the
say
hills.
anymore.
I am as old as the hills and I know all this shit. And I don't even listen.
But you listen to
Yeah.
the radio though. That's the difference. Like
Yeah, I
um,
turn the radio on.
you know, so you grew up with the radio.
All those bands that you just
I did
mentioned
grow up with
are
radio.
like
too.
Yeah.
total. They're all over K Rock,
hmm
like
That's
all the time.
It's K-Rock really.
So,
So
Well, I
Taylor
never
played a
listened
lot
to
of
the
stuff.
radio. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I
that's-
got pretentious about music really young, and then I just stopped listening to music that everybody listened to. Is what happened.
I mean,
Really, you never
yeah,
had
that's-
a car with a busted CD player and no auxiliary cord because the radio
Yeah.
was.
I did
what
not.
had.
I did
I
not.
definitely-
I always had
definitely
my
didn't,
phone.
no.
Mhm.
I always had CDs. I even made CDs for my friends because that's how pretentious I was. I made you both fucking custom mixtapes.
And I had no way to listen to it. I didn't have a CD player in my car, so, but it
My
sat in my
CD
car
Jeremy
for a
ended up
couple
with
years.
3 of them. 2 of them I didn't even make for him.
Maybe he got one of
Yeah.
mine.
I ended up accumulating
You're
all
not
of them.
pretentious. You're a contrarian. That's all.
Yeah, I'm also an anti-vaxxer. Kidding.
Yeah. Show us your your booster.
Yeah.
There it is.
Hey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Booster seat.
Bring on those muscle aches.
Mm.
But Jesus.
Oh, that.
Um,
Speaking of which, real quick. Yeah. The first dose, I felt nothing. The second dose, I felt like shit for 3 days.
Yeah, that's the.
But I was also
consensus.
really, I was also really hungover. So I'm just kidding. Uh,
That'll do it.
So this movie was beautifully shot, beautifully edited, and I loved all the cool angles and crazy angles and stuff like that they did from time to time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I said, for me, I felt like there's other movies that have done this, whatever they were doing in this movie, so much better that it didn't do it for me.
So
You know.
one thing I could say about that's surprised me on this rewatch when I looked at Wikipedia is I was halfway through this movie feeling like it would be amazing if Michel Gondry did this movie. And then I figured out the visual effects supervisor of Eternal Sunshine was the supervisor on this movie. So
Really?
there's some similar editing styles, like
Yeah.
when they do the like the
interesting.
miniature shot, like the shoe coming down on the house and everything. That fits in
Mhm.
that style.
This movie
But-
feels very Truman Show and very Eternal Sunshine. Like there's a very like
Picked
similar
up
like
Truman
feeling
Show
that you
vibes,
get. Yeah, but not like a direct like I couldn't look at a frame of that movie and then pair it with a frame of Mr. Nobody.
Yeah,
but
I
like
hear what you're saying.
there's a
Yeah.
very interesting feel, but I think it's because excuse me. What I really liked about this movie is that the questions that it posits are very, very interesting. So it's not exactly about like I don't think I've seen a movie that questions that presents these questions in this kind of way where it's like it's a movie about choice and what choices do, because I think about this a lot. I think about like, well, I wonder if I did this one thing or had I done this one thing, what would be different in my life, like if I never got that job up at Starbucks, I would have never met Ben and I never would have met Brent, like this weird, I always think about stuff like that. Like, I think it's fascinating to think like,
This
if I did
Brent?
this one,
Are you saying that
Brent's over
Ben
here
is
for
your-
me.
Are you saying that?
And-
Yeah,
oh.
you're there for me.
Yeah.
It's
See?
Brent.
I'm the butterfly that's
wait,
flapping
I don't know.
wings in
I
Dana's
thought you
face.
knew him
Ben?
from. How do you know Brent?
Brent
Brent through me.
through
Ben.
Ben.
Yes. Well, I know you know Ben through Starbucks. I thought you.
Mhm.
How do you know Brent? You knew Brent through Starbucks?
No, Brent I know through Ben, who I know through
Yeah.
Starbucks.
Because
Oh,
I met
okay,
Ben
okay.
through climbing in Austin. and then I
Butterfly
met-
effect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this is a butterfly effect
Yeah.
shit right
Actually,
here.
the
You know?
crazy thing about this is
6
that
degrees of Dana.
if I never met
See?
Danon, I
There we
also
go.
never would have met Brent because the reason that I moved to Austin is because I visited Danon in Austin. So,
Mhm.
It's Danny's fault.
so like,
Sorry.
Brent is actually
I'll
Brent.
take
You
credit.
exist in this weird world where both Danon and I made specific choices, and like us knowing each other somehow brought you into this podcast.
And now
My
you're on a
world-
podcast with 5 other assholes.
My
Yeah, right.
world would have always been weird.
yeah.
know,
I think
Brent
that's
is
what-
the one constant in time. Nothing-
Right.
like,
That's
all
why
of
we're
our
all
choices, Like
friends.
change things, but Brent was always
So
Brent.
so okay, that's an interesting thing. I feel like what I'm about to say works and is necessary in movies, but is also annoying in real life. Feeling that all these movies about time travel or different dimensions or different possibilities all rely on the soulmate idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got a
Where
good point.
in real
yeah.
life, whatever. But this movie's clearly like that as well. Like all the other movies we're watching, where there's like one choice for pure happiness.
Do you guys
Mhm.
think that so one vibe I got from this movie, I'm curious about you guys. Do you feel like there is a clear soulmate in this movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Anna.
Anna.
definitely.
Anna
Yeah.
is the soulmate.
Which
right?
just at any minute, I expected her to get stuck in the dryer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because she's the
Okay.
Thank you.
stepsister.
Yeah,
Ah.
stepsister, stepbro.
That was my porn test. I was seeing who watched porn.
I thought you were making like a
Brett?
weird fallacy.
You were making
Brett
you were
laughed
testing
first,
porn
so.
amongst.
Because I had
other
that thought
guys.
watching this now, where that thought was not there in 2009.
Yeah. So you're like, well, oh, what are you doing, stepbrother? You know,
What are you
stuck
doing,
the whole
step
time.
ladder?
Yeah, what are you doing, stepladder? Those jokes are all over Reddit too. So that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking the whole time. Like, oh my god, this is
Yeah.
a sea of Reddit's stepbrother jokes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
It is really interesting that they chose the incest route for the soulmate.
Not incest.
fighting this movie.
It's not instant.
Not
Okay,
incest.
this
They're
is
not
this is one thing I did want to talk
siblings.
about.
Clearly
Wincest.
states.
See?
many times in the
Hey,
movie.
but this is interesting because I really like you make a good point here, Brent, where it is largely about love the entire time, which is what I love that. So I'm all for it. I'm all
Dan
for it.
loves
And I
love.
love
I
that.
love
Yeah,
love.
I mean, I
Soulmate
feel like
is
it's
the movie
necessary
plot.
for movies. It's necessary for storylines, but it doesn't fit reality.
Yeah, because it has a constant. Like Anna is the constant in pretty much everything, and they kind of show that at the end too, because she's kind of there in every possible outcome or
Yeah.
every possible choice that he can
They
make.
spend the
in his
most
life.
time with her for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and 2 of the choices he ends up with her. So
Yeah.
And they spend the least amount of time with the when
Gene.
he's
The
really,
yellow.
really rich.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gene, yeah.
Mhm.
So
With yellow, Jesus.
Well, hold on, you racist bastard.
Oh shit! All right, kick him off right now.
Turn this around on you real quick.
yeah, hold on.
They talk about this in the. I looked at the trivia on IMDb, and it said the 3 colors they used. Red was for true love.
Passion, blue was for depression, and
Blue
yellow was for
depression. and
wealth
yellow was
and
for
materialism.
cowardice or whatever.
Am I
Oh, so
depressed?
it was actually the
Oh,
film
yes.
creators that unknowingly stumbled into giving yellow to the Asian character, just like in fucking Power Rangers.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I forgot about that. But also, I didn't watch the Power Rangers, so I don't know nothing about it.
We're missing
I
out.
mean, it's neither here nor there. It's just a funny little
Yeah.
faux pas. But yeah, I guess it's interesting because like even it's like a lot like a Kurt Vonnegut book.
Danon trying to
Where-
put his colors up
See
back
it.
there.
I see it.
Put to red,
where-
you
did
bastard.
you switch to depressed?
Yeah.
Sad boy. Sad boy.
So, I thought it was a lot like Kurt Vonnegut, right? Because a lot of his books are about like fourth dimensional characters. Another
Oh my
movie-
god. You just sorry, you just blew my mind. Slaughterhouse 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Slaughterhouse
This is
5.
Yeah.
Slaughterhouse 5.
Yeah,
You're
it's
right.
a lot like Slaughterhouse 5.
Holy
Never seen
shit,
it.
this is Slaughterhouse 5.
Slaughterhouse 5 does have one consistent lifeline for the main character as opposed to this,
Yeah.
though. Another movie that it's a lot like, though, which,
There you go, Danon.
which I would argue is more like
Yeah.
Slaughterhouse 5, is Arrival. Because Arrival is also about a character achieving fourth dimensional status.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whereas this movie starts with him having it and then tweaking
Status.
things as he goes along before they actually happen.
Who
But-
here has seen Slaughterhouse 5 really quick?
Scene? Read?
Of course you have. Yeah. Oh, well, there's the book and then there's the movie, of course.
There's
Both.
a movie of
Uh,
Slaughterhouse 5?
I've read both. Read the movie. I read both. I read the movie. I say both of them.
yeah, he read the script.
and both and both. And I saw the movie. And man, now that Ben, you fucked me all up. Now Slaughterhouse 5 and this movie are so much alike. I realize
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
So
Well, they
much.
both deal with the fourth dimension, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
which is
experiencing time
plasma.
through the fourth dimension. Yeah, that's the fourth state of matter.
Oh, sorry.
oh man, you know when you try to be smart.
But my point was just that like it reminded me a lot of those kinds of like topics that get brought up in fourth dimensional things where it's like if you could experience all time at once, what would you do? And in Slaughterhouse 5 there's this race that experiences time through the fourth dimension, and a big thing with them is that they all were there pretty much when the universe ended because they were the ones that did it. They like
Makes
were
sense.
testing some
Whoops.
experimental fuel and it ended the universe. But because they lived in the fourth dimension, not the third, or they experienced life through the fourth dimension or whatever, they technically can experience all time at will. And so basically most of them like spend their time doing really mundane things like being at the zoo that time they went to the zoo. And so the main character who's in the third dimension asks them, why do you guys experience the zoo all the time? Why are you conscious here? And they're like, well, because like it's nice here. The fucking universe ends over there. I don't want to go like fucking, be with that part of time. I want to be with this part of time. And I thought it was really interesting taking that concept and applying it to this movie because we spend a very small amount of time with Gene. But like, if you think about it from his perspective, he probably also experiencing life through the fourth dimension would hate to spend time with Gene because it's like literally the worst of his options. He's like horribly depressed. Nothing he does feels like it matters to him. Like the absurdity of life is very present to him in those situations. And even Gene is like, I can tell you don't spend any time here with me. And it's because he's fucking off with all the other timelines, experiencing those instead. Like he spends most of his time
Interesting.
living
I've never
that,
thought of it like that.
experiencing that as opposed to this. The only reason I have that perspective is because I read that stupid book, but I feel like it kind of makes sense in terms of
Take.
Well, listen,
Hot take.
Slaughterhouse 5 or Schlachthaus 5, like they said in the movie 1,000 times, is one of those. It's like 2001, where it's supposed to make you. It's not its own thing. It's supposed to make you think and ask questions and be you're part of the story, which is the only reason I like Slaughterhouse 5. Which now I thinking about it again, I gotta watch it because it's a really old movie. And it's pretty low budget, if I remember correctly, too. I haven't seen it in a long time. God, The Fountain. God, that's what I'm thinking.
Really do like the book. The book is great.
So
but,
The Fountain is in the same genre as all this crap, of Slaughterhouse 5, and The Fountain is the same thing where there's a lot of shit going on.
Cloud
What's
Atlas.
that?
Jesus.
Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas.
I'm not putting it at the same
though.
tier, but it's like similar
It's
where
part of
you
the
have
crap.
this like convergence towards a narrative collapse at the end.
Yeah, I
Right.
I could not even remotely finish Cloud Atlas.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
even. It was just.
I
wasn't
didn't
gonna
really
happen.
understand the purgatory world that he was going through in this movie. Like I get that it was supposed to be like purgatory because it's like one of the timelines where he didn't exist. But like
What purgatory? The old man world?
No. The world where he's wearing like a vest and he's like
Oh yeah.
Okay.
they visit that world
and the red
several
cars?
times, and there's like literally a scene where the old man is like explaining what this part of the movie is about.
Mhm.
And like
Yeah.
I gathered that it's like purgatory because he hasn't actually been born yet, or he never existed in this world, or whatever the fuck. But like, what was that? Like, what was the imagery and all that stuff? I don't.
It's difficult to take any of these timelines or purgatory worlds as like literal things that happen in the story. For me, I take a lot of this story as this man dying and his mind is communicating with itself and all these different possible lives he could have led. And it's hard to think about the movie if it's literally about him living these different lives, or if it's him having lost his mind and imagining these different possible lives, as well as communicating with these different versions of himself as he's literally lost his mind years before.
And we never know. We never know. It's interesting you say that because you're right. Because we never know which life he lived.
Yeah.
We can
The movie
assume.
ends with we don't know which.
Yeah. And it's
The
difficult
movie ends
because
with we don't. It doesn't matter. Like
there's theories
That's what they
that-
tell you.
there are theories that it is that final life where the kid doesn't go with either the father or the mother,
Mhm.
that is the real lifeline. And at the end, when he says Anna's name, that was the final life he actually lived.
Oh, he ended up homeless and hung out in New York until Anna showed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
What the
That's
fuck?
awesome.
That's
Yep.
But I mean that's the theory, that's the Wikipedia explanation.
is.
But there's so many ways you can interpret this movie.
know what-
And Ben, you're taking it like there's literal different universes and what are these different worlds, which is a valid.
Well, I also
completely
didn't
valid
take the
take.
movie as a reflection from the old man. I took the movie
Yeah.
as an assumption by the child.
That's what I
Yeah.
took it as too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know
there's a lot of ways to view how this movie is formed in terms of these storylines. And for me, I don't know. I didn't take it as literal different worlds. I took it as a man who's lost his mind to AIDS, imagining these different lifelines. Yeah.
That's every night for me. You know what I really learned from this movie
Yikes.
is that Diane Kruger is prettier as a blonde than a brunette.
Which one
and I
is Diane Kruger?
prefer brunettes.
Like in Troy.
She was the older. She just in any of her movies.
She's Anna.
actually a blonde. She was Anna, the grown up
Yeah.
Anna.
She is one of my favorite actresses.
She's a good actress,
amazing.
but she's prettier as a blonde. Which
Yeah.
I
is
thought she was
odd.
very pretty as a brunette, but I
Yeah.
can't
She-
think of her as a blonde.
She's definitely holding up the foundation, but I'm telling you, as a blonde, she's prettier. You can use that one. She's that's what I thought,
like that
which
one
was
away.
what I thought was interesting. What's that? You
Is-
you don't have to use that one.
Oh, too late.
Good enough.
It's too late.
He's already used
Is
it.
Jeremy's telling us gonna text his next lady.
Yeah.
You really hold up the foundation. Chick. What the
Oh,
fuck
man,
you
you're
talking
presuming
about?
Hold
that
up
I'm
the
gonna-
foundation.
You're really holding up the
Are you
foundation.
talking about my recent hair color change?
Are you? Is that a crack at my weight?
Ooh. The foundation's
Taking-
really holding
taking-
you up.
You could go south quick, Jeremy. I'm just warning you about the foundation comment, but
You know
Yeah.
about makeup.
This goes to the whole pyramid.
I know, right?
That's right. I probably won't text her back anyway.
you
My,
don't
my.
text anybody, Jeremy. That's not really a thing.
That is true. You do just have
Exactly.
hundreds of I mean, to be fair, if I had hundreds of messages to my phone all the time, I would probably not respond.
I would
Here-
not
hold on.
respond.
Here's Jeremy answering a text.
Yeah,
it.
but you missed the little inner dialogue where I'm like, oh, yeah.
That was a month ago. Like, why now? Why you waste my time?
Man,
It's your way. It's a,
His phone lives in the fourth dimension.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
You
how
can
how
never
did
tell.
how did everybody view the varied storylines in this movie? Literally, or possibilities, or
I
mental
saw
decline?
it.
I think
I-
that they were absolutely real in the sense that like any of them could have happened in the exact way that they
Yeah.
were described. Like I feel like the child did have supernatural powers.
Yeah, and yeah, so I agree with Ben. I mean, there's that moment in the beginning of the movie where they kind of explain what happened. Like they somehow missed his, diphthong or whatever the fuck that's called.
His little...
Yeah, he didn't
Yeah.
get that sloosh,
Yeah.
whatever this is.
And
So-
they also establish it pretty early on when they talk about the idea of because there are so many options and the choice thereof is so difficult, you always leave those doors open.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I think they set that up pretty early in the movie. And so if you were to go by that for the next 2.5 hours, then they're all, possibilities.
Hmm.
I
mean, if you
don't
can
disagree that
remember-
they're all possibilities. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he. Well, I guess it. What's really funny to me is like obviously it's a pretty complicated movie, but the reason that I do feel very strongly that it's like the child's assumption of like his futures is because like he gets with one of the 3 girls that he knows exist in his life at the moment where he starts trying to predict the future. You know what I mean? It's like his
Yeah.
world as a 9-year-old is so small that he can only imagine that he will marry one of the 3 women that he currently knows.
That's a good
Yeah,
point. Yeah.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
But that's
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
we as an audience can digest because we can see him interacting with these girls at age 9, 15, and then 34.
Right, and Brent touched on
Right.
this with the with like the true love thing. It's just hilarious to think that like at 9 years old you've met one of the 3 women that you will meet, and there actually
Yeah.
aren't
Mhm.
any other futures.
Yeah, it's
Right.
all tied. Well, again, that's why I like it. This is more of a romance movie,
Yeah.
It definitely goes on that side of the genres, if you will. But that's what I like about it. Like I like, the idea. I really, really liked, although it was a little strange, the red storyline, I suppose, the passion one with Anna. And that
Yeah.
entire thing, it's very tragic. I guess no one dies or anything like that, but it's very, it's sad. It's frustrating because they as kids can't, really
they don't have any control over that.
Yeah, they don't have any control over the life, so like they kind of have to do what the parents, decide and stuff like that. And so
There's definitely death. I mean, that's the one where he dies the youngest. Is the one with
no,
Anna.
the one he
There's
dies with the youngest
versions
is
of
a.
each storyline.
It's a possibility with, I think, either the yellow storyline or the blue storyline where he hits the tree.
Yeah, he hits the tree and flies
Yeah.
into the water. That was on his way home to Anna.
No, that was when he was living
Was
with
that?
his father. Because he had a motorcycle when he was with his father.
No, not the one where he's like in a coma or whatever. The one where he's
Where he goes
drowning
in
in
the
the
wa-
lake. That is
Oh.
him going home to Anna.
It is
I
one
was
of
looking
them.
this up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Is that him going? I thought it was him going home to.
That's him
No,
going home
no,
to
that's
Anna.
him going
Blue
home to
girl.
Anna. Yeah, no,
What
that's
is it?
that's home to
And
Anna.
that is the tragedy of his love for Anna, and that's
Well,
what
no,
I
no,
thought
no,
the end
no.
of the movie was supposed to be.
I don't-
Was
So
hold on,
there-
before we let me just explain what my experience with the movie that I literally just watched was that he's going home to
Knew he was gonna
Anna
get mad.
and is perfect. He's got the perfect life. He's going home to Anna. He crashes his car and careens into the river. He never learned how to swim because she never encouraged him to swim because that's what they bonded over. And so he fucking dies in the river in his perfect life at the tender age of like 32 or whatever.
Mhm.
That was the perfect life for him, but it was also
Oh,
the
I see what you're
shortest.
saying. I see.
So-
what you're saying. I see what you're
so
saying.
But
with-
then
with
the
end-
oh, sorry, the last part of it was at the very end, assuming that like the homeless person meeting Anna is a slightly different variation of that, where he doesn't actually like he doesn't follow the same path where he becomes successful. He forgoes like the success in his life, but because he changes how he finally gets with Anna by becoming a homeless like schlub that stays on a bench and draws circles on the ground. In that one, the implication is that he will be able to have some semblance of a perfect life, even though it's not going to be exactly perfect because he's sacrificing parts of it so that he can live for longer with his true love.
Yeah,
That was what I thought that aspect of the movie was about.
interesting. I do want to point out something really quickly. If I ever saw a white circle on a pier and a bum sleeping on a bench right next to it, I would not stand inside that circle. I would not do that.
I would.
So
I would stand there in a circle in a
That's the
heartbeat.
circle you get in the reality show where they give you $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stand in there.
It's interesting. I didn't understand the whole exactly the whole thing with. I mean, I hear what you're saying, Ben, but you don't have to be able to swim to escape from a vehicle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but there's a
there was whole
very
thing with
interesting
water
connection with
and-
everything.
Yeah, he's a pool boy at one time.
Yeah.
Mhm. I want to see if you guys noticed this. I'm glad you picked up on it.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a whole water
The
thing.
water
The, whole,
thing.
the fact that he can't
Yeah.
swim, the fact that he's a pool boy at one
He gets
time.
shot in a bathtub.
That weird
Yeah.
scene where
Bathtub.
every single reality ends with him drowning for some reason.
Yeah.
He's like writing on his fucking typewriter. And
Yeah,
the
and-
room fills with water.
Yeah.
Like, you
That
know,
would
I
suck.
would die in that situation too if I was typing and then like my fucking room filled with water. I'd be like, well, this is it.
I literally don't know what to do.
I kind of wanted to know what was going on in the story he was writing when they're going to Mars. That was
seemed
the
interesting.
most Cloud Atlas part of the film for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty weird and out
They
there.
had the weird shit on their heads and everything.
Mm,
And I liked how they were in the upright.
back to tanks or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever
they
the
were
fuck
very
those were.
realistic looking.
And they had
steam
that
chambers.
semen helmet that they were wearing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna, whatever. You got to protect the face somehow. Might as well be
So
in the-
I'm getting some of this clearly from this bright
Gallon of
white
semen.
light
Yes?
here. That's Wikipedia.
Okay.
The Mars scenes are supposed to be a science fiction story his character's writing when he's taking care of his disabled father.
yeah.
Ah, okay. Even the one where
Oh,
he
okay.
even the one where he dumps Elise's ashes.
Yeah. Well, not
Hmm.
technically. That fits into an alternate timeline in that life. Like
Where Elise
each
dies
choice,
in the
each choice he's
explosion.
made, living with his mom, living with his dad, neither. They all have multiple storylines within each.
Right.
One of the storylines of
Hmm.
living with the father is him writing a sci-fi story. And then an alternate timeline of living with the father is actually going to Mars, like the sci-fi story. So it's abstract, it's a little weird. It's hard to know what to make of it. But
Maybe
there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
I didn't even think to draw a graph for this one. That was my bad.
Yeah.
guys.
I
This
need
is a
that stick
graphable.
figure. Yeah, this
Really?
is a graphable movie.
This is a graphical
Who
movie.
here would go to Mars in this group? Room poll.
Does it take 30 seconds or?
Yeah.
No.
I'd go to
I'd
Mars.
go to Mars.
I would go to Mars.
I would.
Wait, can you get back?
I wouldn't really care.
Well, I think
Uh,
there's lots of
I'm
there's
good.
lots of rock climbing on Mars, Ben. So you in?
There's lots of rock
Um,
climbing on Earth too.
I would not go to Mars. I'm not afraid to say it. I would never
Well-
go to Mars.
What if you could come back?
Well, if I could come back, then sure. But if I like had to go to Mars to like be at Mars, then fuck no, absolutely not.
Oh, you're talking about
I'd
if you
do
had
it.
to evacuate Earth.
No, no.
Oh no,
just
I'm
talking
talking
a
about
flight
like
Mars.
one-way trips to Mars,
A
like the
cool
Elon
summer
No,
Musk.
well,
Mars.
Ben
Yeah.
is talking about if you had to leave Earth, never come
Forever.
back
I'm
to
just
go
talking
to
about a
Mars.
trip. Just you know,
Yeah.
quick jaunt to
Oh,
Mars.
quick jaunt.
Eight,
Oh, like a
9
fucking
months. and-
16-month thing. Go there,
Yeah,
come back.
quick
I would
jaunt.
do. That's just a vacation, Daryl. Everybody would go on a vacation.
You got enough PTO for that at work? It's gonna
It's called a
have
sabbatical.
18 months of
yeah,
Kind of
It's a
like backpacking
sabbatical.
in
it's called
Europe.
called I'm in between jobs.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, if it was just that, then sure. But like that's I I thought you meant like if you would you like leave Earth to go live permanently on Mars?
Yeah, I would.
I definitely would not. Yeah, you're fucking
You really
crazy.
want to go?
Yeah.
And it's not that I really want to go. It's just like, the experiences I'd have on Earth versus that experience going to Mars. Like in the end, be kind of cool.
Hold on. Which Mars are we talking about here? All right, so like that Mars in the in this movie, Mr. Nobody, it's kind of a boring Mars. I want to go to Total Recall Mars.
I'll
Now,
take.
I would
even,
move there in a fucking heartbeat.
I'll take
right?
even Matt Damon Mars. I mean,
Matt
Matt Damon Mars.
Damon
Take
Mars.
Matt Damon.
That's
Hold on.
dangerous,
Where he's
Mars.
like dying the whole
Yeah.
time.
No, Matt Damon Mars is human shit making potatoes. No thanks. I want to
Potato
go
Mars.
to
Potato
Are you
Mars.
talking about McDonald's?
yeah. I want to go to Total Recall Mars where there's mutants. And
You want three boobs. You want
Yeah, he
three
just
boobs.
I
wants
want
a
three
three-titty
boobs.
lady. That's
I
it.
want small people prostitutes. I want it all. I want
Oh,
vagina faces.
have that on Earth.
Listen, man.
Vagina
Yeah.
face. Oh man, I forgot about them.
That's Dean Norris. Is
But
vagina face.
Damon is
Dean.
right. All of those things you could get here.
Yep.
But true. But when you're on Mars, you're on Mars. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. Let's go.
Would you?
Sold
Here's
me.
would you take that vacation that they offer in Total Recall, where you
Oh,
just go and lay
in a heartbeat. In
But
a heartbeat.
but also, what is the max amount of time that you would travel to Mars?
30 seconds.
Yeah. I like how you point and you're pointing at Dana, and I see you pointing at Doug.
Oh, Douglas.
Dana's to the here to me, Brent's to the here to me, Doug's to the here to me, Jeremy's
Dan's
below
right
Doug.
there.
Wait,
That's
Brent.
Damon over there.
Brent, are you pointing? Am I right next to you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah,
You touch
That's
me.
me and
That's
Dana
funny.
touching
Yeah.
shit.
I got Doug. I got Daryl. I got.
That's so
I mean,
weird.
if
Jeremy,
all of
way
us
below.
do this,
Ben,
then
way
two
below.
of us are going to be touching tips.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brent.
Brent.
And I on the
Ben.
Oh God,
on
I'm
the
touching
stream.
tips with Doug now.
Ben,
Yeah.
See,
Daryl.
that's Dana.
Come on,
Put your hand
Dana.
up.
So right
Oh.
now I would be
Now me and
punching-
Dana are.
Oh,
are
oh.
No,
high-fiving.
I'm high fiving Brent right now. Ooh.
Oh,
high-fiving Dana right now.
lame! I'm high fiving you right now in my
Yeah.
reality.
high
I got
fiving
Doug
Mr.
over here
Nobody
and
to the
Brent
right.
right
Oh, I'm like, this is a black wall to me.
Yeah, yeah.
that's so
To
sad.
me, it's a black wall. So
Well,
Um,
let's keep talking about things that people can't see.
okay.
I know all of us are like toddlers. We just discovered
just-
Zoom.
It's Zoom's fourth dimensioning us where he
Yeah.
put this out.
We're
I think.
either like toddlers or
Is this purgatory?
Yeah.
Toddlers are boomers.
Yeah, we just don't know who the other person's
Oh,
room is.
Zoom feels like purgatory sometimes.
Mm.
It does.
Especially
Ah.
when you try to enter the wrong Zoom link, like Daryl
Yeah,
did earlier.
Yeah.
Listen, you've clicked the top one, you click the bottom one. One's a good one, one's a good one, one's a bad one. That's what I'm saying. So,
Are you talking about the internet? What
Yeah.
did you just say?
I'm saying in the little boxy thing where you talked to
The
me,
chat box.
Yes.
Mhm.
The top one is one I kept clicking on, and that's the one that said it was no good. So then I clicked on the bottom one, and it was good, bro.
Okay, so what he's explaining is he's clicking on a link from last week that is no longer working.
Nope. No,
The
no.
Pornhub
No.
comment section on
It
sibling
was.
porn.
If I could show, if I
He's
could,
like, oh, I can share this video with people on Facebook.
if I knew how to do things, I'd show you, but I don't. So I'm not gonna.
All right, fair
So there
enough.
you go.
I'll go ahead and shut up then.
Yeah.
Sorry
so
for
anyways,
bringing it up.
Mr. Nobody. So why is his name? Oh, so his name is Nemo. Is
Nemo,
Nemo-
nobody. Yeah,
It's something in Greek or something or Latin or something. I read it
He's
in
a
the.
fish.
it's the guy.
It's also a fish.
It's also the
Fish.
captain
Clownfish.
of a ship.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
20,000 leagues under the sea.
Finds
His dad's name
fights
is
a giant
Marlin.
squid.
Yeah, I think it's a Finding Nemo reference.
No, it definitely.
Oh,
is not.
apparently Nemo is a Latin word that means nobody.
Nobody,
Yeah.
nobody.
Yeah,
his
I was
name is
looking at-
nobody, nobody. What
Yeah.
an
Poor
asshole.
clownfish.
And yes,
What
it
an
does allude to Captain Nemo, apparently.
That's
Mm,
fucked up.
Yeah.
it's fucked up.
Man, yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely
I'll-
is.
I'll- you know what
movie.
threw me off too is the
Finding
accents. So it says in the and this is a spoiler apparently somehow in the trivia it says the child/teen versions of Nemo and Anna had British accents,
Yeah.
When they are
Yeah.
reunited years later, they have American accents.
They lost
This
them.
was probably intentional due to the
Yeah.
various timelines, maybe getting confused by the old Nemo.
No,
I'm
that's
no,
ridiculous.
no.
No, here, I'll explain exactly what happened, okay? And this is very clear if you have any idea how fucking people work. Okay, he grows up
Fucking
in the
people.
Get mad
UK.
again. Getting mad again.
What
Listen,
is happening?
listen though. He grows up in the UK, okay? And if he goes with his mom, he moves to America where he lives for literally the rest of his life. So throughout the movie, either he's British and has a strong British accent like he does when he lives with Elise, or his accent slowly pittered away because he grew up in the United States. It's not that hard to understand. The
Hold
trivia
on.
is ridiculous.
Did you know that Eva Green was offered the role of Anna?
Oh, that wouldn't have hit the
Green.
same. Yeah.
Wait, was he British in the yellow timeline?
Yeah, no.
No,
Yes,
hold
yes,
on.
he was. Yes, he was.
Hold
Really?
on,
Okay.
Ben.
Yeah.
I've known plenty of people with accents who've been in this country for 20 or so goddamn years and have never been able to drop the accent.
Yeah, but then there's also
So-
people that do this as well. They do drop their accents. So it just depends on the person.
Have
So
you
this
also heard about-
person, this is a dumb argument. This person just happened to lose their
I agree.
accent. It's fine.
It's
It's
that's
fine.
all that happened is that he lost
Yeah.
his accent because he lives in the United States now.
Yeah.
I also
it's
know
fine.
5 people here that did accents last week.
See?
Right?
What does that mean?
Referencing the Instagram post from earlier.
Listen, I'm just saying, I've known people who've been here for 20 years and I'm still using the same fucking accent of the best.
Oh yeah.
I also
Well,
met this
did
one guy
they
one time.
fucking move here when they were 9 years old, Daryl?
Well, I
Well,
also
they're
knew this one
Probably
guy.
using a, like a woman.
And I knew this one guy who got hit. He crashed his motorcycle and hit in the head in
Was
a
it
brick
an
wall.
accent?
And he didn't have an accent before he hit his head, and then he had an accent after. It's called some sort of hit your head accent syndrome or something. But it happens to people. Like they'll crack their nugget, and you can look this up. That's not.
That's crazy.
You're talking about the
never
story
heard
about
They will
like,
hit
the
their
person
head, their
that spoke
prefrontal-
German or
their-
something.
Their prefrontal cortex, and they will, or whatever it is, and they'll wake up with a different accent after getting clocked in the nugget. And I also, on the last podcast on the left, just listened to the ones they did about lobotomies. Man, you guys got to listen to that one. Whew.
That's a good one.
Ugh, I
Oh,
don't like lobotomies.
terrifying, terrifying. I like Ben. I like lobotomies.
He's had 5 of them.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I said I don't like lobotomies.
Get one once a
I'm not
quarter.
supposed to do it.
Both prefrontal and orbital. What was
Mm.
crazy too, some people were getting 2, 3, 4 lobotomies, because the first ones didn't work. You got to listen to it. Anyways,
Booster
That's
crazy.
lobotomies, I think.
booster
That's what they call
lobotomies.
them.
One of those guys wrote this movie.
Brent got. Yeah, exactly.
There are even cases of people hitting their noggin or nugget or whatever you say,
Nugget.
and coming out speaking a completely different language that they supposedly didn't know before they got into the
Mhm.
accident. Like they're
You
just
were
like,
gonna
I don't know English anymore. Now I'm speaking fucking like what Sanskrit or some shit.
Yeah, the last time
Ancient
wrecked,
Sumerian.
Aliens.
6-8 months ago, I wrecked one of my motorcycles in the desert and bumped my head, and I didn't. All I was just concussed.
You're
Nothing
just hurt.
special happened to me. I was
Nice.
still dumb,
Hmm.
and I couldn't remember things, so nothing happened to me. It was the same guy.
There was
Nice.
There's a I was talking to a friend of mine, and the aliens comment just reminded me of this. He was watching a documentary on like this hotel in Skid Row in Los Angeles, and like
the
a bunch of
Cecil.
people have gone there, and there's a bunch of people like who have gone missing and stuff. And my immediate thought was like, yeah, it's Skid Row. Like, I mean, sure, foreigners who like don't have a ton of money or staying in a hotel on Skid Row like are going to be the victims of like all kinds of like shady stuff. Like, it makes perfect sense to me. And the guy was like, no. The documentary was talking about how it was like potentially like aliens or ghosts or something supernatural. And I was like, could you imagine if you're like down on your luck, you end up in a hotel on Skid Row, and you're like sketched out, like walking down the neighborhood, you're like, man, this is really not like a safe place, I feel really uncomfortable. You get your hotel room, and then you get abducted by aliens. Of
That's
all
badass.
the things that could have happened, you're like,
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna get mugged, and now I'm in space.
That's pretty much the plot to Predator 2, I feel like.
Yeah, dude, I just watched Predator 2 recently. What a weird fucking movie.
It is Predator in the hood.
They
Predator
took some
2
risks.
is so fucking weird. It
They
is
took
so
some
fucking
risks.
weird. They took some risks. So speaking of hotels that I stayed in recently, I just drove back from Texas, and I famously stay in or not. So
You
famously.
famously. Who's writing your obit? What?
Hey, I'm writing my own. I'm writing my own story.
Okay.
I like to stay in really, really cheap hotels because I'm cheap. So I found this hotel in Deming, New Mexico for $46. Okay. And it was a $46.
That's an
hotel.
abduction hotel.
Right. Oh, dude, I didn't
a-
get abducted.
yeah.
I waited around all night. But so I just had my ass hanging out the window, like, come get this. But I had to sign this thing. Right?
That's
Like,
why
where's
you
the
didn't get
alien?
taken.
I figure if I put the full moon out, the alien's gonna come. But
You even provided your own probe.
yeah, I did. Have my own probe. I'm like, don't worry about it. Got my own probe.
In what way are the aliens coming?
I dropped my probe.
Waving a handkerchief.
And that's what it was they showed up where they had a probe in each hand. And they're like, fuck, this guy's already got one. And they just kept moving on.
So
But,
fun.
I had to sign this thing.
He's
saying,
pre-probed.
Get
this
coconut
guy's
oil on the
pre-probed.
nightstand.
This guy's pre-probed.
Pre-probed.
And it was one of those spatulas that looked like the Loch Ness monster. But anyways, I had to sign this thing. I have one of those spatulas, not probes. I had to sign this thing saying it wasn't having any loud parties, that I didn't have a dog. They're going to charge them most money. I'm like, I just want to take a fucking nap because it's like I just driven for 10 fucking hours. And I get in the room and I open the door, and the first thing I see is a stink bug crawling towards me from one of the
Nice.
beds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
What is a stink bug?
It was a 6-foot stink bug. No, and so I just opened the door and I just let it walk out because I'm like, what am I gonna do, right?
After you.
And then
The stink bug's like, oh shit, I forgot to check out. My bad.
it had a bag in its hand.
It's weird room service, dude. The cleaning staff is a little weird.
I had another night, but it left. And then I hang the tag right on the door that says "Do not disturb." And 2 seconds later,
It's a stink bug.
fuck, the stink bug's
Disturbing
coming out.
He's like,
Well, I go in the bathroom and there was a stink bug toothbrush laying on the counter, so I'm like, right? It was for his mandibles. And I open the door, and it's the lady that cleans the rooms, the cleaning room lady. And she's all, do you have any towels? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I just walked in the goddamn, I let a stink bug out. So like, I'm missing all these towels. And I'm like, yeah, I need towels. So she hands me towels. And then I go, I noticed when I was in the bathroom, I had no soap. I said, hey, can I get some soap? She's like, sure, I'll be right back. So 10 minutes later, I open the door and she's all, we don't have any soap, but I got shampoo. And I'm like, I am bald.
Oh shit!
And it's a stare down, right? Like, and your point being bald?
you didn't answer her question.
To wash my ass and my hands, right? Then I'm farting for 10
And
hours.
just around here.
Right?
Yeah.
So I said, sure, I'll take the fucking soap. Because what am I, or the shampoo, because what am I
Yeah,
gonna do, right? So I showered with soap later. As I'm washing my hands. And they're like ketchup packets of soap. They were the smallest fucking soaps ever, or shampoos ever. So yeah, $46. I think it
Nice.
was
Not
worth
bad.
it.
Not bad.
So my question to you is, in retrospect, after this movie, is this your ideal timeline?
This was the yellow timeline.
Where is your Anna?
the yellow.
Yeah, this was the yellow timeline all day long. This was not the blue or even the remotely the red timeline. So,
Sorry,
Definitely not-
Danon.
definitely
In the
not
red
your
timeline,
passion
you don't
timeline.
exist.
Oh.
yeah. Actually, the red timeline he does.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
I'm
I
wearing
did get-
red.
yeah, I did get
Wait.
the stink bug's number though.
Nice.
Does it start with 1, 2, 3?
It was 1, 2, 3. That number also means something too. I forget it. It's like
I forgot to pay attention to that.
Was
fucking
it, 1, 2,
Planck's
3,
constant or some shit.
5,
Like 1,
8
2,
or
3,
something?
5, 3, 8.
The reoccurring
something
phone number in the
three,
film
1.
1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1 is the start of the Fibonacci
Fibonacci
sequence
sequence.
disregarding
Oh.
the random one in the middle. I don't know anything
Okay.
about this. That's something else.
Disregarding the
Hmm.
random one.
How is there a random? You know the random 7 that's in pi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What?
pi is 3.14, but this movie chose to use 3.86714, but clearly they were referencing pi.
It is so
Mhm.
meaningful.
Very meaningful.
You know,
you
his
just don't
parents
get it, man.
live on Butterfly
You don't get
Lane.
math, man.
Yeah,
just don't
well,
get
I
it.
definitely don't get math. His parents live on Butterfly Lane, That's a
Butterfly
good reference to the
Effect.
butterfly
Yeah.
effect. Yeah,
Yeah.
reference
Well,
to
there was
butterfly
also the
effect.
1, 2, 3,
Huh.
5, 8 house that he like went to go.
Yeah, he went to go.
Is it during
That
the
got stepped on.
purgatory?
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I have a question. There's a fine line with movies of trying to be too clever or too intellectual. How do you feel like this fit one way or the other? Did it
I
execute
think it was trying to be too
well?
clever.
Okay.
Hmm.
I feel
one of the
same
first
way.
things that I was gonna say about this movie is it is really fucking presumptuous.
Mhm.
It
That is Jared
assumes
Leto's
a
life.
lot.
Yeah.
Wait,
You are
Presumptuous?
presuming a lot about me and my willingness to trek with you through this dumb bullshit.
So Jamie's a fan.
Yeah.
So this fits into my I like it with caveats.
Yeah.
Okay, these are the caveats. Okay.
Jeremy, I thought you were gonna say it was like really pretentious, but you were like, it's really presumptuous. I was like, presumptuous. You're like, yeah, this movie's presuming that I would fucking sit
You
and watch
think
the
that
thing.
I am going to be writing down all the fucking numbers, but hold the one in the middle for some like you think I'm gonna do no, I'm not.
I think cool shit like this that we're reading about in the trivia, what the number means, and Nemo is omen backwards and blah blah blah. They're like lyrics to a song. They only matter if the movie's good. And I have this theory about, because everybody's like, oh, the lyrics, man, the lyrics. And I'm like, name one song where the lyrics are good and the song is bad. Go ahead, Ben. I know you got one. You pretentious fuck.
I got
Anyways,
one.
Second.
I got one.
But yeah, it's okay. Exception to the rules, what I'm saying though. So I think trivia like all this cool shit, the Easter eggs and stuff like that, only matters if the movie's good. If the movie's not good, who gives a shit about the Easter eggs or the clever stuff or whatever like that? And it's just like lyrics. Lyrics are only good if the song is good, or they only matter if the song is good. If the song is not good, you would never even fucking think about the lyrics. Go
I
ahead,
can think
Danny. You
of a
have
lot
it.
of
But it's
songs-
also because
yeah.
these
I
Easter
knew
eggs-
you would. You fuck.
In the opposite direction, I think you're right, because like Radiohead has a million songs where the lyrics are objectively bad,
Yeah.
but the song is fantastic. Everything in its right
That's
place
far
is
more
probably
common, I
the easiest one.
think.
But it's also in this movie,
Yeah.
the
Nirvana,
Easter eggs don't
prime example.
reveal anything extra about the story. They're
Yeah.
just things
No.
that exist.
And
Yeah,
half of them are like, great. Nemo
Yeah.
is a reference to
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't
Okay.
help you reveal the true meaning of the storylines or anything about it.
Or give
Well,
you
like,
some
I-
kind of extra context or
Yeah.
or anything like that.
I didn't read it and go, oh shit, that's cool. I said,
Right.
Right.
okay, great.
Yeah.
The colors make the most sense.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. So I did
Yeah.
want to talk about that. So like I don't.
And the
I'm
colors are
on your.
important.
I'm on your side. So I think all the the little bits of the Fibonacci sequence and all that stuff is kind of lame. It doesn't matter, like you said. Like it's not like Lost, right? Where you have the numbers that you're plugging into the computer, and it's like, oh wait, these are the same numbers that Hurley play. This is, I mean, the flight numbers also match up with this. Like everything's kind of connected. With this movie, it doesn't really matter. But what I did like, and they do absolutely spoon food.
They spoon food.
Spoon. I can't say it now. Spoon feed.
Spoon feed?
You
You okay?
Spoon feed sounds weird
Dude.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
it
spoon
sounds weird
feed.
to
Now I'm gonna go
yeah.
back to spoon food.
Spoon food.
What are you eating tonight? A little spoon food.
Here, I'm living my yellow time.
Oh, Speed
that-
Food is playing on Friday.
Oh yeah,
What do you-
spoon
yeah.
food is spoon food.
What do you want? Chinese, Mexican, spoon food?
Is that SPEAN or SPEEN? Is the true
Ah.
question? See,
Doesn't
And-
matter.
Speen.
EAN all the way. Spoon.
Yeah.
What was your point now?
It doesn't matter anymore. I lost this. This one's gone. No, because there's speed. I knew I was gonna say it, so I did say it correctly.
you?
Spoon feed. They spoon
my
feed
son.
you the colors, right? Like it's like she's wearing red because it's passion, and she's gonna wear red all the time in every timeline, and then she's wearing blue because they definitely spoon feed you this. But I like that. I like being able to follow that along, and the
All
color
right, wait,
palette
but if
makes
we
sense.
Follow the color palette, then all of the cars in the Purgatory world are passionate, and all of the people in the Purgatory world are depressed because he's wearing that blue outfit, and so is everybody else. But everybody has red cars.
I still don't
I-
understand that part.
I think the purgatory thing is it's the world in between choices. I don't know.
Oh, that's
That-
good.
it's a
that's
very
good. That's a good
it's a very strange bit of it, but I mean there's a weird connection to everything in that purgatory world. Like you're absolutely right. All the cards are very bright red. Like it's very obvious, very bright red. He's wearing a very boring like get up. You know, it's on the
plaid,
muted
nothing boring
side.
about
He's
plaid.
wearing,
Well, not
well, he's wearing
like the
clothes
way
that
it's,
don't
you know.
belong to him too. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
notice
But
everything
does the
he's wearing
boring
has a
getup
price
mean
tag
that-
on it.
Does the
It's
boring
not.
getup
That's
mean
actually
that
not a
he's
price tag.
undecided?
I don't think that's a price tag. I think it's an identification tag.
Then why is there one on the lamp and the bedpost when he
To
wakes up?
identify
That's
the
what I was
price of
thinking
the
too.
lamp.
See, exactly. Thank you, Dad. No, see, I was thinking this too. Like they
don't know.
probably are price tags, but I had a little bit of headcanon here, and I was like, that would be interesting if they were identification tags
I think
I mean,
when
maybe.
because
he's
it's also
in that
real. It's also
purgatory
real.
world-
So
Yeah,
when he's
that's
in the
true.
purgatory world, that was he was workshopping his 30 Seconds to Mars haircut, because all is missing
That's right.
is some black eyeliner, dude, and he is ready to
There you go.
It's the
do
music
some
video.
emo, bro.
Yeah, if you see that the music video, it literally he looks
Right?
just like that with just
He looks
add
just
a little
like
bit
that.
of eyeliner,
Mhm.
throw him in a
Mhm.
tux, and
Yeah.
that's him. That's it.
Yeah.
Throw him in a tux. He's emo. He's emo. Leto. I don't know.
Um,
It
All
did look an
Letos
awful
are
lot
emo.
like a My Chemical
Leto.
Romance.
Leto, my emo.
you know,
Mm.
Every Leto is emo.
Edo. Emo.
Every Leto.
I
is
can't
emo.
combine those two. I don't know.
I remember one of those emo nights, Dan. And remember the one time I visited you? I went with you guys to the emo night, and I realized I
Mhm.
didn't know any emo.
Yep.
I knew
Mm.
one song, and I
Fun
think it was
times.
30 Seconds to Mars.
I actually don't know a ton of emo either, which is really embarrassing. Apparently, because I thought that I was an emo kid growing up, but like I listened to like Blink-182 and Sum 41, and they never play that shit.
Not emo.
Yeah, no.
That's not.
Not
emo,
That's
no,
like
no.
skate
You need, like,
punk. Yeah.
Dashboard confessional.
Yeah.
So
like
Sum
MCR.
41.
emo and shit.
MCR seems to be the unequivocal emo band.
And
Oh
what's
yeah,
MCR?
absolutely. My Chemical Romance.
Oh, see, I
Yeah.
don't know emo.
Yeah.
It's funny. Sum 41 was the opening band for Kiss one time when I saw Kiss.
What?
Yeah, in Irvine, at Irvine
Kiss?
Meadows.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it
I'm
was
not
weird.
surprised.
So it was a bunch of
That's
old
weird.
people, including myself. And nobody knew. I was the one there knew what some 41 songs, right? So I
Yeah.
thought that was cool. I like their stuff. And they were
Sum
playing this
41.
stuff, and it was just fucking stone face. And they were opening band, somebody still walking in. And then he played a quick riff of a Van Halen song the guitarist did, and the whole fucking place went wild, thinking they were gonna play this
Oh.
old people song. And then they play one of theirs, and everyone's like, eh. Time to go get another beer. I know, I felt bad for some 41.
Why are they Irish?
That's a bummer. I hear that they're big they're big Kiss fans and they're big Metallica fans.
Is that why they
well.
were there? Yeah.
Yeah, they. I think that's why they went on tour with them because they just like Kiss.
Huh.
I've
Well,
never
I'm
seen
thinking-
Sum 41 live, but I would love to. Actually,
They were great. They
Yeah.
were really good.
Yeah.
So they were just, it was the wrong audience, you know? I
Yeah.
think it's one of the things like,
So-
this would be a great idea. And it was not a great idea because they're two different
Yeah,
from
very
Kiss.
different.
And also anyone goes into a Kiss concert, you know, then we're talking 10 years ago now easily.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of old fucks, myself included.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was watching on videotape the Animalized tour in 1987. So that's some old shit, bros.
It's pretty old.
Some old shit.
it's the year I was born.
wow. You're older
Wow.
than Brent.
Oh my God.
I might be. How old are you, Brent? Because I'm not going to do the math.
I'm
How old are you?
34.
God,
34.
dang.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys see that video of Don Cheadle talking to what's the little
Tom Holland.
short comedian? No, what's the little short
Hart?
Kevin
black
Hart?
comedian? Kevin Hart.
Mm.
And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
talking to him, and he says, "Yeah, so I'm 54," and Kevin Hart's like, "Damn,
I have seen that. Oh my god.
it's so funny."
Every
And
single
Don Cheadle
person
has
here,
no sense of humor about it.
every single
Yeah.
person here or watching this should go and look that up.
It
after
is
this.
so funny
It
because
is
I'm laughing my
fantastic.
ass off, and Donald Cheadle's not breaking. Like,
Dude, he has like
and he-
no
he's all, "I'm sorry."
he has like
no
no
chill.
comedic sense. But like he has no
Don Cheadle has no chill.
he doesn't find anything
Yeah.
funny like in interviews and stuff like that. I mean, there was that very famous clip of Mark Ruffalo, and he's like, they're talking about Endgame,
Oh, yeah.
or Infinity War, and he's like, yeah, everybody dies, and Don Cheadle just gets mad. He just like, dude,
Yeah.
dude.
He has no.
And it's like, dude,
sense of
like,
humor.
come on, that's
Right.
funny.
No
Like,
sense of humor.
also, not everybody dies. Like, you can not be a dick about it.
Yeah,
You know, it's
yeah,
like,
that-
come on,
That
like, just
video-
lighten
fact
up a
that-
little bit.
That
The
interview
fa-
with
the fact-
Kevin Hart gets to awkward level where Kevin Hart is sitting there for 30 seconds to Mars, trying to apologize.
Very nice.
That was good. That was good.
Just trying to apologize to Don Cheadle, like, hey man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
Cheadle should
Cheadle-
have taken it the way it was intended, which was funny. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so
the way he
good.
said it was so goddamn. I was on the
Why
ground.
you gotta take
dude.
yourself so seriously? Your last name
Well,
is Cheadle.
he's an actor.
That's a funny name.
Yeah.
It's a funny name.
And
Yeah.
Kevin Hart's like, I didn't mean it like that, and Don Cheadle's like, you said it like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
Yeah.
What a little
My
bitch.
God.
Yeah.
You know, Cheadle, fuck off. I love your
Don
acting. I
Cheadle
think you're
is
a good
the
actor,
type
but
of guy
suck
that
it.
would unironically say that I'm old school. I do things old school. I fucking hate
Mm.
people. that
Yeah,
are like,
that's
"Oh, I'm
called
old
boring and dumb. When you don't have a
Yeah.
sense of humor anymore, that's when you're truly an adult, and you can suck.
Adults deserve to die. Fucking
I agree.
humor is like lifeblood of living. If you don't fucking have a sense of
Agree.
humor, then like you might as well check out
Lifeblood
because
of
you don't have
life.
any worth
Yeah.
living.
But speaking of this movie, the whole futuristic world where nobody dies. What the
Mr. Nobody
fuck?
Oh, that's so cool. I would love to be telemerized.
Yeah, Vampire Ben wants to live forever. So
If everybody
Well, okay,
else could
I
live
got a question
forever,
for
Daryl, then you'd totally
Okay, okay.
fucking do it.
So Ben wants to live forever, and I want to go on Mars and die.
yeah,
Wow, the juxtaposition between you two is amazing.
This is why my background's blue.
I got a question for you, Ben. If you were a vampire first, and then they invented whatever the hell it was, live forever juice, would you rather be a vampire or live forever juice guy?
I tell you what, if I was a vampire first, I would somehow find a way to not fuck a 14-year-old like all the vampires seem to do in all of the movies.
It's good. It's good.
You know, like I just
Yeah.
want to come out and say that
What the
as
fuck
a
are you
vampire,
watching?
Or
fucking
Kelly
Twilight,
Twilight?
fucking like
Vampire
The,
Diaries? Are they?
Oh,
yeah,
I
Vampire
guess you got a
Diaries.
point.
She's in high school in Vampire Diaries.
I guess you got a good
fucking,
point. He's
even
200 years old.
even the one where it's the little girl and the little boy. The little girl is like hundreds of years old.
Oh,
the one we
let
watched,
me in.
Let the right
Oh,
one
let me
in.
in.
That one
let me
Yeah,
in.
she
in.
doesn't fuck
Let the
him.
right one in. Yeah.
He-
doesn't fuck him.
it's heavily
She's just
implied
setting him
that
up.
they're doing some shit.
No, she just sets him up to be a familiar. She emotionally manipulates him.
I feel like that's
Well,
the
if
only
you think
movie
about
that
it-
points out how fucked up the concept of vampires getting with children is.
Yeah,
Every other
absolutely.
movie seems to glorify this concept. So I just want to say, as a vampire, I would go for people that were like of age.
Age
That's all.
appropriate. Like
Yeah.
I'm-
Nerd-
that's
But if
cool.
you think about
like-
it, so
like
you're
what we
hundreds
do
and
in the
hundreds of
shadows.
years old. There, well,
Like-
yeah.
remember, like what at the
So-
end of What We Do in the Shadows when he's with that super old lady.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
and they
talk about his
find
I love
robbing
they
the
that.
have
cradle
so
and
much in
stuff.
common or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That'd be
all
neat.
right. So you'd
So
be
what-
dating
what-
a 200-year-old woman. Got it.
So, like, what about Lord of the Rings with Arwen and Aragorn? Because they are technically family in their family
They-
tree.
yeah,
He
but they
is
didn't
not
grow up
18.
together. They
He's
didn't
not
grow up
18.
together.
He's not a junior in high
17.
school.
She's
Yeah.
thousands and he's
That'd be weird.
180 something.
He's
Is she
87.
thousands?
He's
Hold on,
87.
How old
80,
is Arwen?
87.
How old is Arwen?
Arwen is a couple hundred.
I
Years
think-
old, I thought.
No, she's 1,200 something ish.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's
but
one
she
good looking.
forsakes her
old bitch.
mortality.
See, that's when the lines get blurred, right? Because let's say you're thousands of years old.
Look,
someone who's
It's
100.
actually
as
age
long as
divided
you're
by 2 plus
above the
7,
age of
so.
18, then it's fine.
Yeah. Plus, it's comparable.
1200
Yeah.
minus 7.
You know,
What's the age of consent in
divided
Middle
by
Earth?
2.
All
All right.
Googling
Oh,
it.
so you know what? She can
1,000.
only actually date down to 595 before it starts to get a little
Yeah.
bit weird.
Okay, so
So-
that's the ratio.
Yeah, the ratio. Yeah, I just plugged it into the equation. So she's got down to 595. Anything below
Okay.
that is creepy. So
I
yeah,
have
it
a
is
more
little
important
creepy.
question. So I just watched all, I think, of the Underworld movies, or some of them.
Kate
Yeah.
Beckinsale. Yeah.
Oh, dude. And then the second one or third one I remember it has Rona Mitra in it. But in that one, you got werewolves fucking vampires, and I didn't think they fucked, so I was a little confused by that. And she's a full-on vampire, Rona Mitra. She's
Are you talking about Rise of the Lycans?
is that I think
Is that
it
the
is
third
Rise of the
one,
That's the third
right?
one.
That's the third
Is
one.
that, and it takes place back in the 1400s, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
Rise of the Lycans.
Interesting.
Shaun of the Dead's dad,
Bill Nye.
is- yeah, his daughter
In
is
the
a
last
full-on
movie.
Bill
vampire.
Nye. Yeah.
But how that
Mhm.
happened? How did that
that's
happen?
what that's what stars the
Philip?
the war between the Lycans and the vampires. Is
Yes.
the fact that they two, that Lucian and his daughter, I forget her name, make a baby, and they end up putting her out.
Well,
in the
she's
sun.
pregnant. She's pregnant with, and I'm like, I didn't think vampires could. I didn't think the vampires menstruated for one. It's very complicated. We probably shouldn't talk about this right now.
Yeah, Ben, can you get on a
There's
graph,
a
please?
more appropriate time.
I'm
to
gonna need
talk
one of
about
Ben's
vampire
graphs.
children having-
Yeah, we need
tuned for
menstruating
next week.
vampires is a whole nother
Yeah.
episires. Right?
Actually,
Men-
that's just another
Menstruating
thing.
vampires is actually
Vampires
playing
is-
tonight.
They're playing Saturday.
Yeah, after
open
Speen
Menstruating
Food.
vampires.
Yeah, Speen Food.
and then
Bean
menstruating.
food
food.
featuring menstruating
It's
vampires.
opening up for menstruating vampires. So,
I'll put those on the list. That's pretty good.
can you
What a
imagine?
lineup.
Okay,
And then some 41 is opening up for both of them.
yeah.
I like that Speen Food and menstruating vampires are both bigger names than Sum 41.
I don't. We're Sum 41. They're still the opening band. Oh my god.
Speen Food. Stupid. God damn.
Well, hold on. Jeremy's the one. I'm pretty indifferent about this film. It's not like Jeremy really disliked it. So
Yeah,
Jeremy,
let's
go.
get it. Let's get into it.
Let's get
I wanna-
severe
I wanna-
dislike.
Yeah.
Dislike it? Okay, well, here's the thing. This is the movie that
Good movie.
I thought Ex Machina might be. When I was
Mm.
prepared to go, I was
Okay.
preparing myself for Ex Machina.
Mhm.
This is what I thought I was in for.
Okay.
Okay.
And so it's not that I hated it, but it took me so long to enjoy any of it. If
okay,
that makes
okay.
any sense.
Are
Yeah.
you saying
It's
it's a
not
no
that-
jiggle 5?
God, it might be. Don't beat me to the punchline. You know, it might be a little bit of a jiggle, but you know, if I'm thinking about it. But I don't know. It's not that I hated it, but it took me so long to feel like I was invested in it at all.
Mm.
I don't like that. I don't think that's a sign of a movie that I would enjoy or watch again.
It's a very
Something that
important
takes
point, actually.
that
You've got
damn
there.
long to actually find anything that I like about it or find myself starting to invest in. At some point, I started seeing recurring themes and that kind of thing in the movie. And I was like, okay, I'm picking up what it's putting down, but it took so long to get to a point where I felt invested in it.
Mhm.
And you shouldn't have to. I think if it's a movie that you're going to enjoy and like, I'm not going to say a good movie, but for me personally, I don't want to have to wait that long to get to a point where I'm starting to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's why, no, I didn't really like it too much. I felt like, again, it was kind of presumptuous. There's so much heady stuff going on. And so many times when we've been talking about this movie, we've talked about what it could be versus what it might, what else it might be. And at the end of it, you know what we keep saying? I don't know. That sucks.
Yeah, it felt like it was made for cons, however you say it, cans.
Yeah.
It felt
It's
like
a
it was made for
festival movie.
festivals.
Oh, cans.
It's
Okay.
a festival movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really felt like it was made for that because we're highfalutin people. Are like, oh my god, it was so brilliant. You know what I mean? Because things happen and it just goes back and forth from the child and the train and
Yeah.
Festival
exactly.
movies are not like normal movies.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. And so
a lot of normal movies make it into festivals.
Yeah.
That's true too. So I don't know, man. That's I don't know. That's the problem is we
See?
keep going
There you go.
back and forth. We talk ourselves in circles about what it might be, and at the end we're just like, oh, I don't know.
We actually had a conversation about this in
Yeah.
terms of art when you visited, Jeremy, about like if so there's like two sides of a lot of artistic mediums. One side is like I had a point and here's my point and I'm effectively communicating it the best I can through this piece of art. And then the
Mhm.
other side of art is like, what do you think, audience?
Oh, that's right.
And,
We were
and
talking
I
about
honestly,
lyrics, though.
I do think that the second one can be very like it is in danger of being very pretentious because it's like, fuck, dude. Like when you go out and make art, and then you're like, I actually prefer to let my audience take their own meaning from
Mhm.
this. It's like, yeah, that's fucking real nice of you, but also one of the most inauthentic things I think any artist could ever fucking say. Like it's really challenging territory to navigate as an artist to like make something what you want other people to interpret.
Right. And the thing about this movie is it does a little bit of both because it poses some legitimate questions too. When you're talking about life decisions and like what you were saying at the beginning of the podcast, Dan, about got me
Mhm.
thinking about, man, what if I just did this one thing in the diverging paths? So
Yeah.
it poses legitimate questions too, but there's a bunch of fluff in the middle of it that's like, well, I don't know, that's kind of up to you. And a little bit's okay, but I think that works, what you're talking about, Ben, when it's focused. When it's focused into something, and then the very end of it, you can gather your own meaning. But when there's so many elements of the movie that, like, well, it could be this or it could be that, then you
Like
kind
the purgatory stuff threw
Yeah.
you off enough. that you're
I
like,
didn't
This is
like
a
any of the
whole
purgatory
thing. This
stuff.
I
whole
get
section
you.
of the
Yeah.
movie, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I think the
No.
surrealism was a little. It was, well, not even a little. I think it was kind of out of place. I would rather have watched the movie as they posit the question, right? It's just like, okay, what this movie about choice? Like this kid, when he's the age of 9, he has to
Like,
make
focus
this,
on that.
Yeah,
If
Yeah.
that's going to be the question
Yeah.
you ask,
Yeah,
then
that would-
focus on that.
I do agree with you. I think that would have been a better movie. You could also cut down the runtime a lot, but you can
If you
still
cut out-
have
I
the
would love to see a
diverging.
cut of that movie, yeah.
You would still have the diverging timelines. You could still show the movie in a non-linear manner, which I still liked. I still liked that, how it kind of jumped around, because it kind of makes you, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
what's going on here? And I have to kind of like piece this together myself. I like the work behind it. But yeah, I think the surrealness of the entire movie could have been totally done without. I think you could have cut out the old man part as well. Because, like, again, he says at the end of the movie, he's like, we don't even exist. We're just a potential choice that this 9-year-old version of myself has to make. And he's just
Right.
scoping it out. So
Right.
as soon as he makes a decision and it's not our decision, we are bye-bye. And that's exactly what happens, because he opts to not go with any of the decisions. He makes his own.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate with stuff like that, when you're like, okay, when you get to the end of the movie, you're just like, God damn it, a lot of this stuff could have been cut, because now it's kind of
Right.
obsolete.
So
And it
there's
turns out
certain
it didn't
Sorry.
end up meaning anything.
Yeah.
there's certain things about the style of this movie that I think I wouldn't want to let go, like the old man stuff. I had parallels with like Big Fish, like unreliable narrator
Right.
Okay.
talking
yeah.
through these possible timelines. And then also with the purgatory thing, again, like I said before, it was kind of like this accelerating narrative collapse that I've seen in other movies, where I appreciate that kind of anxiety induced finish to these parallel storylines coming together to something that is cohesive at the very end. And I'm not sure style-wise if it would have worked without that. But also, a lot of this movie, we're talking about the length, and that's one of my big caveats, is I felt like this was a short story that was made too long. Like it should have been 20, 30
I
minutes.
Yeah.
agree with that.
That's a good point.
100%.
Yeah.
like the Grinch that stole Christmas.
Sure.
Yeah.
The movie is
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
long.
just like
But it could have been made so much shorter. It could have been an expert short story.
It's like The Hobbit.
But
This could have been an
but all
episode
those
of Black
elements
Mirror, man. This
didn't
could have been a
work.
45-minute episode.
I was just gonna say, the way
Yeah.
Brent
This is a
described
Black Mirror
it sounded
episode, like, yeah.
exactly like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The old man makeup was incredible, though. Probably best I've ever
Oh, yeah.
seen.
And that's Jared Leto. He did a
Yeah,
great job.
incredible.
A great
Incredible.
great
He
job
put that
playing the old
makeup
man.
on himself.
No,
Yeah.
Jared Leto actually aged
Onto somebody else. Yeah.
and then de-aged himself.
He's a method actor, man.
They're still shooting that movie.
Holy shit, dude.
Uh,
That's
That's-
crazy. And then
that's
they
actually
sent it
really
back
funny.
in time
Mhm.
so that 9-year-old Jared Leto would go on to make this movie.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Jared Leto plays every character. He's Diane Kruger as well.
That that is what's that? That's the short story "The Egg" by Isaac Asimov, right? Where one,
Jared Leto plays everyone.
yeah. Well, literally.
Yep.
I mean, technically, yes, because there's one soul that is humanity, and then it just like goes and lives all lives that have ever existed in no particular order. So all
Ooh,
humans
I don't
are
like
the
that.
same soul. It's called the Egg, and the whole point is to breed another super being, like that is like God, because it's like once you've experienced all humanity, like that, then you like transcend into being.
It's a fantastic
God.
story.
It's a really fun short story,
'Cause-
and guess
'cause
what?
it's also like-
10 pages, and it's really good, and it doesn't
Perfect.
have this weird purgatory section in the fucking middle of it that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
So
But
a lot
my-
better than the movie.
I gotta say, with the Egg, just to highlight one of the main themes of the movie, of that story, is fantastic, because every single person you've loved, murdered, hurt, whatever.
How many people have you murdered?
Yeah.
Oh, at least 5.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's
don't
not
do
bad.
that?
Yeah.
You guys don't
went
do
up on
that?
mountain.
You guys don't murder?
You guys went up on the mountain with 10
The-
people, came down with
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
I think
That
the
was
specific
acceptable
line-
losses, okay? We all knew.
Yeah.
There was a what?
But
What was
it's
our
a fantastic story.
The specific line is your consciousness was Hitler and the 6 million people that he like caused to die. Like, so
Yeah.
it's like,
Hmm.
it's like, oh my God, we're all the same. Like, in it.
So you had a lot in common.
Interesting.
In
So
some
there
ways.
there was something that I really liked about this movie too. It's kind of a paradox. It's like almost like a thought paradox. But at the end of the movie, one of the lines when the kid is looking back, to his mom on the train that's leaving, and he's looking back to his dad, he's going back and forth. There is this line that the old man Leto says, where he says, "It's impossible to make a decision without knowing the outcome." And it's like, okay, so this kid, perceives all these different outcomes. And now that he knows all these possible outcomes, it's hard for him to pick a choice. Which is an interesting, like, I really like this paradox,
He
it's just
enters
like, okay,
Zunzvog.
what?
He enters Zunzvog, which is the chess term that they used in this movie.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about one of the 9 realms of men from Nordic mythology.
Yeah, that.
It's like right next to Jotunheim.
The only move to make is no move.
Yeah.
So do you feel like the lesson is that knowledge makes choice impossible?
Yeah, I like the concept of that. I thought it was a really interesting kind of like it sounds like like a thought experiment almost. It's like, okay, if you don't know any of the decisions, how do you make a decision? It's like, well, I would probably start researching all my possible outcomes. And it's like, okay, well, now you know everything. Which one do you choose? So
I thought a train was gonna hit the kid. I was kind of hoping for that.
Okay,
I
but
kinda
for,
thought that at some
You know what?
point
I
as
just
well.
I remembered something that I wanted to talk about, which was that this movie makes a very critical misstep by my reckoning in what it's attempting to accomplish. An extremely critical misstep. Like, I liked it for the most part, but thinking about this makes me like roll my eyes really hard that they wrote this into the movie. The kid never actually makes that choice. If you recall correctly, he 100% chooses the mom. 100% of the time, he runs after the mom.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And in the situations where he goes with the dad, his shoelaces break, and so he loses his shoe and he can't make it. That's not him making a choice. He didn't want to live with the dad at any point.
Also, you have a good point here, because if he wanted to go with the mom and miss the train, he probably just could have taken the next one. And then gone. He didn't have to stay
kind
with
of-
the dad.
I wish they'd explain. Do we ever find out what happened to the dad and why you have to bathe your dad as your teenage son? What happened to the
I
dad?
thought that was a normal thing.
Does that not happen?
I mean, Daryl, can you explain age?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm an old motherfucker, but I'm still bathing myself.
You couldn't when you're in that hotel.
I mean, you
Yeah.
didn't bathe your dad when he visited?
No. Yeah, that's oh,
I
yeah,
know.
Danon. Yeah,
It's like
okay,
we
that
don't.
did
It's like we don't love each other.
happen. I know.
They're not even family.
Man, I haven't bathed my dad in so long.
He's just waiting in the bathtub still.
That's what
He's just waiting for you to
I
come
walked
home.
into the and I just sat in the bathtub like this. I'm like, Danon, my back is throbbing. Yeah, I didn't know. I wish they'd kind of explained something that, like, why is he like this?
You don't need to. So there's
I
one where
needed it.
no,
Needed
you
that.
don't know. You don't
I-
need to.
you don't need it.
You talk
Needed-
about this all the time. You're like, you
Hold
don't
on.
need that. That's ancillary
You're right,
information.
but in this movie, I needed.
Why did you need to know why the dad was?
Why?
He had
The dad
early
was
onset
sick.
Alzheimer's. There you go.
No,
Done.
he didn't. It's not.
Well, how do you
it-
know?
He got hit by a truck.
No, he didn't get hit by a
He
truck.
had a concussion and he didn't get it checked out.
There
Oh,
you
okay,
go.
yeah, so
You know what the thing is about this
speak
kind
in
of movie,
German.
though, is this is the kind of movie where you would think they would tell you.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
like,
okay, you have a good
The
point.
Derek Weatherman.
this movie is so damn long that it's like, why not throw a little scene where
one-
the dad
one
gets into a
second.
car wreck?
There is an Easter egg out there that explains it. You just haven't found it yet. You gotta
Oh,
rewatch
I
it
haven't
again.
scrolled down
You know
the
what?
3 pages.
He was
And,
bludgeoned by the Easter Bunny.
He was hit. He was hit by a runaway Easter bunny. Just tell us the what did you call it? An eggplant? Just tell us, because I'm never gonna seek it out or watch it. The Easter
Yeah.
egg.
I think he's joking with us. I don't think it actually.
No, oh,
is.
yeah, I'm joking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wikipedia
well-
says he just becomes disabled.
Ah,
So not really
how,
disabled.
how
or
all
disabled?
disabilities work.
I now become disabled.
Yeah, he's timeline disabled. So
Right.
I don't know if your 9-year-old brain's gonna come up with that one. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
He
if
chooses to have a
between
disabled
staying-
father.
You're
just
choosing
saying.
between staying with your dad and staying with your mom, and you're like, if I go with my mom, I'll meet the love of my life. If I go with my dad, he's gonna get disabled, and I'm
And
gonna
I'm
have,
gonna
a
have to
terrible-
bathe him.
I get to bathe him.
And then at the end of the movie,
Jeez.
they're like, and the right choice was neither choice because the both of them were too.
I like when he tells the dad he's getting married. He's like, "Oh, who's the lucky lady?" I'm like, "Man, that sounds like me. Just totally clueless, just sitting there eating porridge."
Liz is back.
Liz.
Liz,
Oh, hey,
it's been
Liz.
an actual age. How are you? We're not, I can't wait for the response. There's lag time,
Put it in
guys.
the
There's
chat.
lag
Oh,
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's lag
Hey,
time.
we'll all sit quietly while Liz responds.
Wait, hold on. I think Liz has seen this movie because she says, "I just like to say I respect some of your wrong opinions." Ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
You
The
wouldn't
next
be,
hot take enters the
Liz
chat.
Wow.
chat if she didn't tell us how wrong we were.
Some of us. I would say I'm right, but that's just me.
I think
All right,
the more
Liz.
we talk
That
about
is
this
just
movie,
weird.
the more I realize. That it's not
She says
very
it's a
good.
top 5 movie of hers. Interesting.
The more we talk about it, the less
Oh,
I.
no, Liz.
Yes.
Come on,
Yes.
come on, Liz.
Top
She's on the-
5
Liz,
movie.
All right.
you're listening to
High
the
five,
wrong
Brent.
podcast.
High five, Brent.
Have you
Hold on,
only
we need
seen
to-
5 movies?
Oh,
Boom,
no.
okay. Because Brent and I like this. So
This isn't like the Green Knight where it got better. This is actually getting worse for me. The more.
I think this conversation has
Oh.
actually made me dislike this movie.
no, I
Yeah,
still like the movie a lot.
Like I was indifferent. Now I'm not indifferent. I'm less different.
I'm just
You're just
recognizing
different.
a lot
I'm
of things
just
that
different.
tonally don't work for the core message of the film, which is that choice doesn't matter. Everything is
I
valid.
think Liz thinks that Jared Leto is cute, and that's what's really going on.
You know what? He is cute.
I mean, I gotta give that
Bait
to
him
him.
if you-
I
You're
was
not wrong.
listen,
Yeah,
Not
I wouldn't
wrong.
kick him out. I wouldn't kick him out of bed.
yeah.
I wouldn't
I'm
kick him
just
out of
saying.
30 seconds.
Especially
to
with
Mars.
that,
Yeah.
30 seconds to Mars.
I
And isn't he like-
do think that Jesus
I think he's
Leto
like
is the
70?
best Leto.
What's Jesus Leto?
Oh, with
A long-
Was that a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Leto has long hair. He was in the movie.
Hold on.
It was the homeless guy.
Oh,
Fight Club
yeah,
Leto. Fight Club Leto's the best Leto.
Oh, there you go.
As Angel
Liz?
Face?
Bleach,
Mhm.
bleach
Hey, Liz,
blonde.
hold on.
Mhm.
Let's get Liz. What's the best Leto?
Yeah, yeah, Liz.
Oh, yeah.
Let us know.
Let us.
This is the
Let
second
Let
movie
us
with-
know.
This is the second
Ah.
movie with Jared Leto that has "Where Is My Mind" by the Pixies. One
Ah,
plus about this movie, great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty good stuff.
really good
One
song.
big
I-
plus about the movie is that
Mhm.
it knocks it out of the
The
park
score
with
was
the
great.
soundtrack.
I really like the score. It's kind of kooky, kind of weird, but it's also very sad. I really liked it. The
I don't
weird
want to hear the
kooky
kooky
Sandman song
guitar and
anymore,
stuff.
but
Yeah, I mean, I never want to hear that
rips
in
off,
any movie ever, though. It gets played in
Except for-
every movie.
except for Back to the Future when he first goes back
Don't care.
to the past.
Don't care.
And
I'm just saying
it does
covered.
rip off
Hmm.
Gymnopede, though. You guys notice that?
Oh,
You
it
guys know
rips
that
off
song?
Gymnopede? What are you saying?
Yeah, what does that
Gymnopede,
mean?
the song. Da, 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 da. It's like the classic, like it's a classical song that's not like actually from the classical era, and so it's like
Are you talking about
used all the-
Sandman?
No, I'm talking about the song Gymnopede. If you guys listen to it, you would recognize it immediately because a lot of movies use this song.
Just like 311.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. I was about to say that shit.
Gymnopede? Wait, what are you saying?
Gymnopede, yeah.
The
Gymnopede?
shit Ben
Gymnopede?
knows-
How many legs is that?
The shit Ben knows versus what he doesn't know is just
Right at school.
It's pretty incredible. I love it.
Gym-
Discrepancy.
Yeah.
All right, Liz says
Well-
30 seconds is nostalgia, but I also recognize he's a fantastic actor. Yeah, I think we're all in
Well,
agreement
I
there.
would totally agree with that. He is
Yeah.
a fantastic.
He's a great actor.
Mhm.
and
so.
he's one of those great character actors. For sure.
Brennan says the human gymnopede. I'm on Brennan's side. Yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, I would watch the human Gymnopede.
I think that was the
again-
name of the human centipede was Jim.
But again,
I
this is-
would. I
Okay.
would. What's that website where you give people money for their stuff?
Pornhub.
Patreon.
OnlyFans.
No, Sean, no, like an
Spectrum.
invention.
The spectrum.
I'm
Curvy.
testing your guys'.
Etsy.
Fiverr.
No,
Oh,
you-
GoFundMe.
thank you. I would go fund me a Gymnopede. What'd you call it?
Gymnopede, yeah.
I would go fund me that movie.
I guess
Like,
it's
I would-
called.
I would get $5.
Hades is the.
I know. I'm just thinking
is
of
the
Jim
French
Halpert.
version of it.
I know. I'm just
Human
thinking of
Gymnopede,
Jim Halpert
but
with 7 legs.
Somehow with Jim Halpert in there. I don't know.
Well, my point was just that like this is a classical song that they just like threw into the movie, and it's like it's a great song, but it's just like, I mean, they didn't compose it, you know. It's like faux composition. It annoys me when movies do that.
This movie was very pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
And
Fucking
presumptuous.
compose your own shit. Danon composes his own shit for the
Yeah,
podcast.
compose your own shit.
Yeah, I have to compose myself before I get on this podcast. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
there you go.
Oh, you haven't composed anything for this podcast. Fucking
I
loser.
haven't. I know. Well, we need to have a. Brennan's gonna make the movie, by the way. He's making the human gymnopede, Dad. So you can give him money.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, give me your
Starring
call
Tim
again?
Albert.
GoFundMe.
Venmo.
GoFundMe. I will
Your
send you
Venmo.
$5 whole in quarters.
You can take that to the laundry, Brendan.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else we want to talk about this movie?
No, I'm good.
All right,
Yeah, I'm good.
Liz, I want to get your opinion on this. If it's a top 5, I need to hear it.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah,
Have
you
you only
tell
seen
us.
5 movies?
Yeah. I'm blown
on,
away.
hold on,
I've only
hold
seen
on.
5 movies.
Hold on. If it's a top 5, she has to list the other 4
Okay.
because that's how we really judge how wrong she is.
That's a good point. Actually,
I
What
still
the hell else?
really like this movie.
in
This
your
is
top
one of my
5.
favorite like love movies.
Yeah, you've been talking about this movie for a long time to me.
A long
and I don't
time.
know why. I don't know
Your
why.
favorite love movies.
It's
no
absolutely
her.
a love. Yeah,
It's
it's,
no
no
her.
her.
It's not.
No.
I mean, it's not a I wouldn't
no-
say that this is a very strong love story.
I didn't feel no
personally.
love shit in this movie. and
But I
love love.
liked it's all
Just
about
regular
romance.
shit.
Yeah, it's all about the
There's
the
definitely
3
like
different.
true love happening or whatever, but like I didn't really feel like that was.
I didn't feel emotionally moved by it like I did like with her.
It was
or-
less about time, less her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most emotional part, I guess, about in terms of like the love element was maybe when they were for me, that resonated was when they were kids,
Yeah,
like 15 or whatever, and that those decisions are kind of taken out of their hands.
When
I
she-
really
when
liked all
she
that.
has to move away.
Yeah.
And they have to
Yeah,
stop
I liked all
fucking
that.
each other as
Oh, that
brother
stuff
and
was
sister.
good. Yeah.
they
Yeah,
are
that was
stepbrother and
pretty good.
stepsister.
There was an emotional connection.
It
Yeah,
was
there's
still an
really
emotional
sad how
connection.
those
See, that's
15-year-olds
where it
had to
really
stop
hit me.
Fucking each other and getting high.
And
Hold
the
on.
part where she
Really
gets stuck in the
fucking
dryer.
depressing scene in the movie.
I was just more talking about the moving away part, but
And she
How,
gets
how,
stuck-
how do you feel about her adult self talking about foregoing love, accepting this depressing life, waiting
That was
for
a little weird.
one possibility?
I think she was
That
an
was a little
asshole.
weird.
I think she was.
like, somehow she's crazier
a
than he
asshole.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was
And
possible.
I don't believe for one fucking second that she waited 20 goddamn years. What the hell it was?
No, she fucked
did.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Foregoing love.
So
the
Brennan
human
Brennan
Jimmy.
asked, "Is 30 seconds a movie, or are you describing Saturday nights with my girlfriend?" You guys schedule
Yes.
sex? What's
Good
wrong with
for
you
you.
Your
people?
girlfriend
Yeah,
doesn't watch
that's
this
good. That's
podcast.
good.
Goodness gracious.
Then he says, "Never mind. 30 seconds to Mars."
He mistyped. It was an autocorrect.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an autocorrect.
God damn.
Also, I want to get Liz and Brennan. I want to get your opinions. Is it 30 seconds to Mars? Is it? We're still debating this. Is the
we're
30
not debating.
seconds the entire trip, or are you 30 seconds away from getting to Mars after having spent 6 months getting there? Go. Also, Liz says she's typing, so
Yeah, what's her? I like I said, we need to know her
she's
other.
she's preparing it. She's preparing it. So we can give our
It-
ratings.
It's not an easy question. I understand.
It's not.
Yeah, let's give our ratings and we can read
Yeah,
Liz's.
I'll go
last
first.
at the end of the show.
So Liz says that makes no sense.
Dude, look at that hair.
Oh my god!
Damn,
Look at that hair.
Look at that.
that is.
And that's his brother
Is it?
What?
right there.
That's unfortunate. Look at those
This
eyebrows.
guy is his brother.
Yeah, that's the
He
tweezing
did that to
going on.
himself. Those aren't regular eyebrows.
Like a fucking Vulcan.
God didn't give him those eyebrows.
30 seconds to Vulcan.
Why do they all look like vampires? They look like fucking bee
Because
characters
this-
in Twilight.
This picture
Yeah.
was taken in 2008.
Twilight
Yeah.
came out in 2008, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Actually, he looks like he's trying to go Super Saiyan in the middle there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, Brennan's on the side of 30 seconds away from Mars. Damn it. Okay, well, you know what?
It's not, there's no
shit.
science.
No,
There's a
I can't fit
correct
that.
interpretation, and then
No.
what you guys came up with.
No, we didn't come up with
I
anything.
think- I think that it's valid. It's just, you know, you don't get it, Ben. You're not,
Yeah, you're not a
Yeah.
you're
you
not
don't-
at 30
you don't
seconds.
have the eccentric
Brent.
creative mind to understand
Oh, is that
the-
Jared Leto? Handsome Jared Leto?
the,
Not the practically brother?
no, the purposeful preposterousness.
Yeah, having too much fun down there.
Ridiculous.
God damn it. Brent is fucking flipping in circles over here.
All right.
Oh shit.
Oh, now it looks like
Now,
Trevor
look at
has
his got the
hair.
hair. Lean back, Brent. You had hair for a minute.
Yeah, hold on. No, you got to lean into
Yeah,
it.
right
Get
there.
it-
There you
get in
go. Look at it. Jared
Right,
Leto's
with Super
haircut.
Saiyan.
I love the guy on
No,
the
just
right.
much.
Lean back just
It's
like
too
you are, but
much.
then go. "Ah."
Let's look at
I'm
the guy on the
honestly at a
right.
point of like trying
Oh,
to figure out
man.
how to turn this
What is
off.
happening now?
Look at the guy on the right. He's like, I play bass.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
It's the lights
Is that
out.
his other brother?
I play bass
Yeah.
in band. He looks like he should be wearing a tracksuit and he should be from Russia.
Squatting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were we doing? We're doing
Yeah,
ratings?
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, Danny?
All right,
Ratings,
I'll
Danny,
go
you
first. So I will give this movie a 9 because I just like it so much.
That much?
Yeah, I like this movie a lot. Even
It's
even
hard.
talking about it, and there's things I would cut. Like I said, I would cut a lot of it out. I would cut a lot of this realness out, and because it's just strange. I like
So
the
still a
part.
9?
Yeah, I'm speaking. All right, I'll spoon food it to you. So, because I like all the stuff with the angels in the beginning, and like explaining, like they're explaining what happened and how he's able to kind of see these different branching pathways and stuff. I also really liked, again, like I said, the love aspect of it because it's definitely about love. It's just kind of like about time where he like decides to go back and use his time powers for love. It's kind of like that. He's using his choice powers for his true love because Anna is always there. And no matter what choice he picks, she's always there. So I think that's very important, and I like that. But yeah, I just liked I just really like the movie. I like how the questions that it asks are fantastic. Like I said, like a lot of thought experimenty questions, which I really like. And so it's not just about a love movie or this movie about like sort of time travel through one person's life. But it's a many different things. And so I mean, even all the shit that he's talking about and that science thing that he's making, as his job, like all those questions and like these ideas of time and these different dimensions, like a lot of science shit. So it's a lot packed into one. And watching it several times, this is probably like my 5th or 6th time watching this movie. I always get something different out of it. So like this time when you get to the part with the old man and he's like, we're just like figments of some kid's imagination. Before, I don't know why I never picked up on that. I always thought that like the world was just ending at that point. I didn't realize that he was just being not thought of as a choice anymore. So interesting thing I picked up watching it this most recent time. So I don't know. I just liked the movie. It just really pulled me in at 1 a.m. again when I watched it. So, and since watching it several times over the past few years, like I've always really liked this movie. So yeah, I would give it a 9. It's not one of my top 10 movies, but I do really like this movie, and I do come back to it every year or so. So yeah.
I'll go next. I give it a week 3.
Damn, that is
Wow.
low.
Big difference.
It's
All right.
It's just maybe it was the diarrhea. I don't know. I just
It's hard to
couldn't
watch a
stay with
movie
the
when you're
fucking-
shitting every 30 minutes.
I tell you what, yeah, when you were sitting on Pompeii, it is tough
Mm.
to. I guess Vesuvius was the eruption of Pompeii, but and the toilet was Pompeii. But it was I just couldn't even between shits. I couldn't stay with the movie.
That's why
You're
you
just
needed
sitting
to uninterrupted. You should have just watched it on the toilet.
No, I've tried. Well, I watched plenty of things in the toilet. I've just I couldn't even, like I said, the last time I tried watching it a couple years ago, just when you recommended it, Dan, I couldn't stay with it. It just didn't. Again, it was beautifully shot. I loved all the editing was fantastic. All that shit. The soundtrack was great. All the acting was great. I just didn't give a fuck. So normally, like I get super wrapped up in love story shit, and I just couldn't with this one, even with the Anna stuff. And yeah, it was kind of like when she had to move to New York with the dad and stuff. I don't know, knowing that stuff, I would get pretty wrapped up. And with this, I didn't feel anything. I can't explain it. I think it was because it was so all over the place, and the weird shit with there was so much weird, unexplained shit that I couldn't get into it. So yeah, in the makeup, again, the makeup was incredible. Probably the best old person makeup I've ever seen. Way better than that stinking Waylon Yutani makeup.
Oh God, yeah.
And
Oh, that was horrible.
awful.
Mhm.
And Jared Leto's amazing as he always is, but I just didn't give a fuck. And so yeah, week 3 for me, and I'll
Damn.
never watch it again.
Damn. All right,
good.
Liz has typed me a novel, but I'll read it when we're done with our
Yeah.
reviews.
I'll go next. I'll give this a strong 5 to light 6. Probably would have given it a 7 when we walked in. 7 probably. But after discussing, I think I really like movies that attempt to do things like this. Like I really enjoy movies that have like a very deep philosophical point that is not necessarily like this is, but more like these are the ways that you can think about and approach this idea. The problem that I have determined with this movie is simply that like it lacks internal consistency in regards to its own message, which is that like choice is irrelevant when it comes to living a fulfilling life, because at the end of the day, any life that you end up living is as meaningful as any other life that you could have ended up living. And I think a part of that, like the magic of that, is kind of of the mind of like, enjoy the moment, enjoy where you are, don't fucking stress about the future or the past or whatever. And like I can resonate with that kind of stuff as a spiritual message, sure. But then also there's very clearly like a best love interest. There's very clearly a worst life line, which is the one where he ends up in the bathtub getting shot by the random dudes. And it's
I thought they're gonna
it's like
talk about what he's bathing his dad.
I think he gets there after bathing his dad too. So it's like the bathing the dad leads into him getting shot in a bathtub. But like
Bathtubs are just no go.
is
They're
the
just
worst
no.
timeline.
Yeah, the bathtub
and
timeline.
then bathtub timeline. And on top of all of this, he didn't actually make a choice in the first place. The butterfly effect is what caused him to not end up with his mom or end up with his dad or whatever.
The shoelace effect.
The shoelace, yeah, the because the fucking guy sold shitty shoelaces to the thing. That's
Yeah.
and it's like that was a scene they inserted into the movie that like makes it so that somehow this is a choice. It's really more like that.
Yeah, it's not choice.
Happens. Yeah, it's like
that
it's
point.
actually that life kind of happens to you, and you don't necessarily have a choice in regards to that. Which is like, okay, that's a philosophical thought, but that is not what is said verbatim at
That's
the end
not
of
what
the
they
movie.
say.
And so
Mhm.
that's what I mean by internal consistencies in regards to the greater theme of the movie. I find to be kind of detracting from it, because the only value to movies like this and movies like Green Knight and movies like fucking any fever dream-esque movie is that like there's something to really sink your teeth into and enjoy in terms of like just thinking about it. And like you talked about like the greater thought problem, like the bigger questions that movies can sometimes ask you. And I think movies in this style are very effective at that. But this movie in particular, having just gone through this whole dissection with you guys, I have realized is a fairly weak attempt at the philosophical questions that it poses in my thoughts about it now. And so for that reason, I think it's even losing a couple points for me, because yeah, I mean, it was entertaining enough, but like a lot of stuff like this, like Jeremy said, is like, it presumes that you're willing to put in the effort to kind of try to understand what it's conveying. And like, I'm putting in that effort, and like, fuck man, like, I just don't think that it's like that effectively communicated. And so for that like purpose, I think it's like, yeah, a 5, maybe a 6.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rent.
I think Dan will hate me for betraying the cube here. I mean, it's like it's a soft 7, maybe 6.5. My like range is pretty wide in those ratings. Again,
range.
this feels like a festival movie. It's a movie I can't recommend to people generally. I've watched it multiple times. I will continue watching it, and I think, like Damon, I'll probably gain more appreciation for it the more I see it over the years. But does that make it a good movie? I'm not sure. I like it. I don't necessarily consider it a good or great movie. A lot of it goes back to what we've already said, is it feels like it would be an excellent short story. It feels like they were trying to do too much for too long, clearly. But stylistically, it's very well done. The acting's fantastic. The music's great. I just don't feel, I think, the appreciation for the love story as much as, say, Dana does. I mean, it's clearly based, the focus is love, but the weight of it just doesn't hit for me.
Yeah,
So,
I
don't
agree
know.
with that. Yeah.
It's difficult. I'm kind of indifferent to that storyline in this versus the overall experience of the movie itself. So even though love should be the focus of the story, it isn't that for me when I see it.
Okay, because that's absolutely what I picked on, or picked up on.
I mean,
that's what,
like literally, I understand that, but that's not like my visceral feeling when I watch it. You know.
Yeah. Jer?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone has just said. But honestly, I think that this movie feels a little bit disjointed, and it doesn't know really what it wants to do. It poses some questions. You think that that's what it should focus on, but then it takes all these weird rabbit holes that don't go anywhere. And when a movie's this long and you're going to pose some big questions, you know, some congruency would be nice, some consistency there. And it's not. So I don't like that. There's a lot of technical things that are nice about the movie. I like the soundtrack a lot. I like the score a lot. I like the acting a lot, and the makeup's great. But man, for this long of a movie, it, like I said, it presumes a lot. It's kind of like someone who made up a board game and then gets mad at you because you don't know all these silly convoluted rules to the board game that they made up. And then they get, you know, it's like, I feel like
I'm playing Uno with my dad.
It's no, not like Monopoly. Fuck Monopoly. That's a stupid game.
Yeah.
Monopoly sucks.
So that's
Wait till you
kinda
play
how I feel
Brass
about it.
Birmingham.
I think that it was just not very focused, and something that I didn't even realize until Ben brought it up is that it actually contradicts itself pretty blatantly in a few areas, which makes me like it even less.
But they
It can't make its mind up.
Yeah.
Interesting that
So-
the old man gets called out on that as well by the
I
interviewer.
can't make my mind up either.
Mhm.
For being contradictory. Look, just because you wrote a poor story doesn't mean that if you put a character in there who acknowledges that the story sucks means that it's good.
You've said this many times. You've said this many times about many things. So I do agree with you, but in the different
That was
different
good, Ben.
sense, I like the way that it's presented in this movie.
That's what,
Yeah. So
if we ever shoot a movie, we're gonna open it up with someone just going, "This movie sucks." All right,
And
then
everybody's
you're
gonna be
good.
like, "Oh my god, that was the best movie
Yeah.
ever."
Oh my god, it's brilliant.
yeah.
He said at the beginning that it sucks.
It's so self-referential.
So
Yeah.
this movie, I was gonna give it. I was thinking little jiggly 5, but it's actually a firm 4.
Ooh.
Wow.
jig
Ooh.
four.
Wow.
Firm
Okay.
4.
A firm.
Yeah, it's a
Firm
no
4
jig
is
4.
better than a
I mean,
jig
Wasn't
yeah,
that
I think
the-
some people would prefer that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
You know what women say? They would prefer a firm
No.
4 over a wiggly 5.
Listen, no offense to the
Jiggly
Wiggly
five.
5 groups out
Wiggly
there. I know there's
is
group
a
out there.
completely different. That's a whole nother rating system right there with the
Yeah.
Wiggles. Don't even get me started on Wiggles. Okay.
Wasn't the
Hot
firm
potato, hot
the firm
potato.
4 is a Beatles tribute band, isn't it?
Firm 4.
All right, let's talk to
And
the guy
that's
who
Sum
hasn't,
41 side project.
yeah, let's talk to the guy who hasn't seen it. Doug?
No, he's seen it. He
Okay.
just not recently.
Oh no.
Well,
Did you
I don't
just
think
pull
I
a
have
Joker
anything.
on us?
What's that?
Did you pull a Joker on us? Have you actually not seen this
No.
movie?
I would never do that. No. I'll definitely pin it to see it again because I mean I think Dane and Brent have definitely brought up some interesting things that I missed because I have actually seen it before. It's just it was a long time ago. So like I said, is hearing you guys talking about it, I definitely feel like maybe in my first viewing that I missed something. As I took from it is, yeah, it's kind of philosophical, you know, every choice, life choice is a meaningful one and stuff like that. That's fantastic. But for me, my initial problem is in any movie, number one is entertain me.
Yeah.
And much like Ex Machina, this didn't. Is
I hear you.
don't talk down to me, don't talk at me. You know, I'm here to be entertained, especially if it's going to be 2 hours and X number of minutes long. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It sounds like people are very enjoying it. Hell, we've got somebody who's has it as their top 5. Fantastic. I'm willing to pin it. Willing to put a pin in it and go watch it again. Because like I said, it's been a very long time since I saw it. As far as a score, I would say I would give it like a doughy floating 4. 'Cause
Doughy.
again,
Joey floating.
Because Doughy has opportunity
I love
rise.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
Very
wow.
nice.
Is-
Very nice.
Got some potential.
Wow. Okay.
There.
It
But
could be overcooked, you know, and you could get down to a 3.
like, and then
Baking.
I'll open the oven too soon and it'll
Yeah, to do
Like a
it for you.
souffle.
Back then.
Mhm.
Like a souffle.
but no, but
You give it a
like I
souffle
said,
4.
Yeah, I'm giving it a souffle 4. Because I mean, and overall, I'm not as impressed with Jared Leto as I think most of you guys are.
We love
'cause
him.
I can't. I mean, he's fine. It's just that I can't stand the method actor. Cannot stand it because
What
it
about
completely
Daniel Day-Lewis?
can't stand him. I will not watch any of his movies.
Wow.
Daniel Day
The-
Screw Loose.
to me, and we'll wrap it up because it's late. But to me, the method actor completely lacks any imagination or creativity because they have to
Mm.
actually experience something in order to project and communicate that to somebody else.
Wow.
And in
that's
some
like I
ways,
said, when the minute
anyone
I
can do
hear
that.
somebody, is
It is funny because Denzel Washington was in a movie with Jared Leto called The Little Things on HBO Max, and he had not nice things to say about the method acting of Jared Leto. He's like, I don't.
Nobody
But I like
does.
the things
Yeah.
that he did on
Nobody
as
does.
in the Suicide Squad of the Joker,
Yeah.
sending
Yeah.
bullets
Yeah.
to Will Smith or whatever on a
He sent a-
raft
he
to,
sent like a
Margot Jogi,
Dead
and he was-
baby.
yeah.
you
Or
know,
dead
and it's just
pig.
Yeah.
and that's fine. But like I said, to me that's just completely lacking in any sort of imagination. And I mean, because to me, is any actor should be able to look at someone else and at least have some kind of empathy. And to me, the method actor just completely lacks any kind of method, empathy, creativity, or imagination. And so, like I said, I've seen stuff he's okay in, but he's not. I'm not a big fan.
I definitely
What
agree
about
with you on
30
method acting
What
because
about 30 Seconds to Mars?
Doug?
I'm on the. I've always been.
Ben's
on
never
the,
heard him.
I've been. Yeah, I know, but he's just emo. So, I'm on the that it takes 30 seconds to get there. I think that's.
Thank
Oh,
you.
wow.
Thank you.
Because
All right.
I mean, to me,
Brendan,
because to
Brendan said he
me,
could have it both ways.
taking it 18 months to 24 months, which is actually what it would take to get to Mars, like in a regular spaceship.
Yeah, that's
is just-
boring. Yeah, I don't want that.
you
I want
know,
to get there in
well,
30
that's,
seconds.
That's Matt Damon Martian.
Yeah.
You're
Go on, Mike.
well. Now you're saying that possibly, telepods have been invented, which I'm totally down for. I'm just saying that the pilot gets on the loudspeaker, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's 30 seconds to Mars. 30 seconds to Mars. Ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, we will be in Mars in 30 seconds." You know,
But he's in
buckle
Houston
your
when he's
seatbelt.
saying that.
See?
But he can't
Yes.
possibly. I mean, unless you were in the atmosphere coming down about the land, you wouldn't say that.
Oh, actually, here it is. Jared Leto described the name as a reference, a rough translation from the book. I think the idea is interesting. It's a metaphor for the future. He explained 30 seconds to Mars, the fact that we're so close to something that's not a tangible idea.
That's
I still
stupid.
think it's.
So it's closer to me. It's closer. I'm claiming
Yeah.
that as mine now.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
closer to my idea. Than
It's
it is
metaphorical.
yours.
Mars is just 30 seconds away, guys.
Right. That's
You
the whole
know,
idea. It's like psh,
Don't
you're
worry
30
about
seconds and
it.
you're there.
Don't worry about it.
Metaphor.
How
Transporter.
far away is
Yeah.
Mars?
Don't pay that
30
bill.
seconds.
Yeah, if there's
Metaphorically.
transporters,
Yeah.
and
I don't
Scotty
understand
gets
how
on there.
something
and-
that is so clearly not what you guys just said
It's
is-
close.
Although
No.
It's not
funny,
closer
it is
compared
closer
to
to
what-
20 seconds to get to
Yes,
Mars.
because the idea
at the
is
speed of
that
light, so.
it is much closer than you think.
A
That's how we
rough,
call it.
concise version of that to me is we're 30 seconds from accomplishing something.
Mm.
Like
Mars.
getting to Mars.
Yeah,
which
the
we've
surface of
been on
Mars.
our way towards for all of humanity.
You were inserting that part of the context though, and I'm not.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 30 seconds to Mars.
Insert.
Insert, sir.
How are you able
Inserter.
to-
You are an inserter.
That is
How are
your
you able to
headcanon.
misinterpret this sentence
That's
so
what-
well?
That's what Ben would be. That's what his
Talking about a
nickname
band
would be. Is Ben the Inserter.
Ah,
That's
don't
his
like
email
that.
name.
I think that's what we used to call him like 4 years
Bow
ago.
down.
when he was
Ben the
single.
Inserter.
30
That's his
seconds before
vampire name.
insertion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fire name.
Wait. What did Liz say? She wrote a paragraph.
Yeah, I'll say what Liz says. So Liz says that her top 5 are The Dark Knight as number 1, Up, Donnie Darko, interesting, Inception,
I like Donnie Darko.
Cap-
Don't like Inception.
Captain America, Winter Soldier. Where's Mr. Nobody in this? I thought you said it was in your top 5.
Dark Knight, Up, Donnie
Math
Darko,
major.
Inception, Captain
Up.
America.
Donnie
Maybe she
Darko,
has-
Inception, Captain
Maybe she
America.
has 6 fingers.
Maybe she's not counting her thumb.
What does that mean? It's to the top.
What do you mean top 5?
Top 5 Jared Leto movies.
You don't
Yeah.
need to have fingers to count the top 5. What are you talking
Why wouldn't
about?
you tell us if that's what you thought? Then why wouldn't you give us your top 5?
What's
Jared
the
Leto?
delay on this stream before we get
Yeah.
the real answer?
It's not that long.
not that
She's
bad.
gonna give us the answer.
It's 30 seconds. the stream.
I'm
We
so
appreciate you,
confused.
Liz. It's
Yeah.
great.
So confused.
Is Mr. Nobody nowhere near her even top 10?
No, I don't know. She gives the top 5. Oh,
I pretty much said give us your other 4. Because
Yeah.
Mr. Nobody's in the top 5 somewhere, and she just gave us her top 5.
She gave us the
including-
old Liz switcheroo.
yeah, not including
Classic.
Mr. Nobody.
classic. What she's known for,
Made a
really.
choice. It's an alternate
Yeah, she made a
timeline.
choice.
Right.
She
She chose
says,
to not put it in
yeah,
the
she
top
says
5.
top 5 movie of mine. It's right there in the text. It's implied. Implied.
It's implied. Maybe it's
It's a
like
metaphorical top 5.
Did it
Was
also
it-
get
was it
downgraded
4.5?
over the course of this podcast?
Oh, she's giving
Yeah,
5 more.
absolutely.
Okay, so do you have multiple top 5?
well. Listen, my top 5 is organic. It moves around a little bit
Oh,
depending on my
It's a
mood.
little wiggly.
that's why I have a top.
Little
I have
wiggly
a wiggly top
Yeah.
10. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I definitely
But
have
I'll-
a wiggly top 5 for sure. Top 10 is pretty solid, but top 5 is definitely wiggly.
Okay,
Honestly,
I'll give.
I've never
there's a,
given full thought into what the order of top 5 is. My number 1 is still just Jurassic Park as like a childhood love of it.
Yeah.
Even though there's literally movies I could think that are maybe better written, higher quality, whatever. Just like that visceral feeling will always be Jurassic Park as number 1.
Yeah,
and I
totally get that.
hate ranking under that.
It's easier for me
Mm.
to give top 5 favorite movies in a given genre.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a lot easier
Well,
for me to go, oh, my
yeah.
top 5 favorite comic book movies, my top 5 favorite
Yeah.
comedies. You
Well,
know,
that's when you start breaking it down. But like if you're just off the top of your head, your
That's
top
hard.
5 favorite films, I think is what I'm going off of because that's what I
Yeah.
look. So like you, Brent, Jurassic Park's yours. Mine will always be Blade Runner,
Yeah.
and then Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Empire Strikes Back, and Godfather 2, which actually entered that top 5 many years later, not until my early 30s, I think. But those, like right off the top of my head, is what like Blade Runner is an absolute go-to. An absolute go-to. I watch it at least once a year.
Oh yeah.
But I mean Jurassic Park, I probably watch it 2-3 times a year too.
I'd say
I
Blade
love
Runner's in
Jurassic
my
Park.
top 5 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I love. It's definitely my favorite film. But I mean, I'm a huge fan of E.T. also.
Yeah.
E.T. is on my list of perfect films with Shaun of the Dead. I love E.T. I think E.T. is a perfect film.
But
It's not, but
Yeah.
I think it is.
But it's so
You know
hard
what
for
I
me because I get outside of say genre films. There's my dog.
Yeah.
And,
the dog.
and I think of something like Heat, which I can't fault Heat in any single
just watched
way.
Heat the other day.
Perfect film.
Heat's
Heat is a perfect-
fantastic, but
fantastic.
like how
still
do
need
I
to watch that
rank
movie.
that in that top 5? Because I want that like tied with other things in my top.
Mm.
I like to
Mm.
watch Heat a lot. I watched it in the theaters and I was like, wow, this is amazing. But it's definitely not even my top 10. but I think it's a great
Yeah.
movie, and I've seen it many
Yeah.
times.
But I'm such a genre person where I hit like time
You
travel,
have to.
sci-fi, and everything that
Yeah.
it's those are usually my go-to top 5, and then I think of things outside of it that fit so perfectly.
Yeah.
If you're a true movie fan, you have to break it down by genre. I'm just
So,
talking
yeah.
about
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what Liz is
yeah.
actually saying. She says something similar. Like, so like Mr. Nobody for her is in a different category or its own category.
It-
Yeah, I
Top
mean,
5.
I go with that. Yeah.
yeah, because like I would say when people ask me this all the time. They're like, "What's your favorite movie?" And so my go-to now is just Her. Her is my favorite movie of all time. But stop it, Ben. you're a stupid movie. You shut up. You're an inserter, okay? You're inserting your bad
Ben the
vibes
inserter.
into this
Stop
podcast.
inserting.
You can
Sorry, guys.
out searchers. What's the but the Lord of the Rings movies are my all-time favorite movies. But it's hard for me to rank them. So if you're saying okay, single greatest movie of all time, what do you think it is? I think it's Her. But if people ask me like favorite movies, I'll say Lord of the Rings. All three of
I'm
them.
gonna watch.
They're
I'm gonna
all
watch
up there.
the first Lord of the Rings movie way more than I'm gonna watch Her. Her is not something I can watch a lot. I love that,
Mhm.
film, but I can't watch it all the time. It's too much.
It's painful.
Because
Yeah.
it's painful and depressing, and
Mhm.
you know.
Which is why I love
Where the
it.
Lord of the Rings, man, you can watch that first
Boring.
Lord of the Rings movie, dude. It's
bad.
if it's on the TV, if it's on TBS and you flipping channels, brother, I'm stopping and I'm watching me some Lord of the Rings.
What
and every now
is-
and then I'll just pull out the Blu-ray because I'm like, okay, what am I in the mood for? Like, oh, this is a good standby. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's like we're talking about. If you're a true movie fan, it's broken down by genre.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Raiders of the Lost
Yeah.
Ark. Remember, we used to watch every Father's Day.
Mhm.
That was my Father's Day movie.
Yep.
Because I love Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep.
That's on my list of perfect films. Is it a perfect film? No, but it's on my list of perfect films.
Yeah. Let me get to Liz's review really quick of
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
So she says, I don't even think it was a love movie. Now we're talking about Miss Nobody again. It just happened to be a focal point, which yeah. I mean, but that was
Thank you, Liz.
yeah.
Thank
so
you.
I think that we did touch on that a lot. That was the focal point that really stuck out to me. Like that's what the focal point that I really picked up on. So that's why I kind of when I think of this movie, I think of it more of a love movie because that's the thing that really stuck out to me. So yeah, just happened to be a focal point. This is a big crunch, and the alternate timelines is done very well. His head trying to figure out things. It's definitely the type you need to watch more than once to get everything, which I agree with. Like again,
I'll give
just
you
watching
that.
it. Yeah, just watching
I'll
it.
give
this,
you that.
fifth or sixth time, like I've picked up
Yeah,
on a lot.
Maybe if
So.
I watch it again, I might.
It is a lot.
Come up with-
It is a lot of things packed into 2.5 hours. So when Old Nemo says that each timeline is as meaningful as the last, I think that tells what the movie is about. So I think Ben, you were talking about that a little bit. And
Yeah.
Doug too is like the idea of like these lifetimes that you live they're going to be important to you no matter what you choose. And so she says Nemo is the happiest with Anna, but wasn't really the right choice, quote unquote. Every timeline has its own individual value, and that way the choices we make don't really matter. You hope for the best and move forward with the choices that you make. So I guess that's just what you like really got out of the movie, which is what I got out of the movie too. Haven't seen it in a while, and I don't feel like typing more, so that's what I got. There you go, boom.
Fair
But
enough.
she got some
Nice.
good.
Mic
she got some
drop.
good- she got some
I
good
feel
points.
like
Yeah.
that does actually fit better in interpretation of the movie that
Yeah.
that it's not necessarily about a soulmate.
Yeah, and
It's
so
like these equally weight options.
yeah, and so what she also says is I think the perspective of valuing life choices, right decisions, overthinking, regrets, memories, and what ifs in the future is something that's very consistent. And what other part are you talking about? The big crunch? Big crunch part? But yeah, it's just like, it's a movie about life, and the more we overthink the decisions that we make, the more it kind of makes us depressed. Because I definitely get that way when I really think about like, man, I wish I made this decision like a long time ago. And then I'm like, well, now I'm thinking about that. I'm not thinking about what I can do, in my future to kind of like make my situation better.
If
So-
They're talking about the
he
big
had actually
crunch.
made a decision in the beginning of the movie.
Who? What?
Well, the kid never made. I mean, that was the inconsistency problem.
Make-
I think.
make up
I,
your
I
mind,
actually
you
agree with
9-year-old.
Liz. If that was the movie to me, then I would like it a lot more because that's what it was initially to me. But the more I thought about it, unfortunately, I started to realize that I don't necessarily agree that what the movie says it is at the end is entirely consistent with what it actually presents itself as on the way there, and that's the thing that I think detracted
Yeah.
for me.
Which is great because like I have an emotional response to this movie that is a lot deeper than I think everybody else here. It seems like even you, Brent.
Oh,
Where
that's
again,
probably-
like I
yeah.
just watched this in the right state of mind. It was 1 a.m. and just kind of threw this thing on and watched it, and I just connected with it in a certain way that, again, like we've said many, many times in the past, it allows me to look past these little nitpicky things. Well, I guess they're not so little, but like these things about the movie that don't make sense or are inconsistent, where I'm focusing on the decision that the kid is making itself and not everything around it. Like, he always chose the mom technically, but it just had bad shoelaces, so it wasn't really his choice. Like things like that, where I was just like, okay, this is a possible outcome. This is a possible outcome. So that's more what I was able to focus on without really getting into the nitty gritty of the plot holes. So, but yeah,
Yeah, 'cause it is strange because I am very much like an emotional movie watcher, and in other movies, like connecting to characters, feeling these visceral feelings, like I'm living that situation along with them, and I just couldn't with this for some strange reason.
Yeah, that was.
No,
me
I
too.
don't know
I
why.
couldn't feel anything. So.
yeah, which is weird
felt
because
a
I totally did.
semblance of that. The only, like I said, the only time I felt it is when that what's her name has to move away.
Anna,
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that does get me a little bit.
Mhm.
That's it.
So yeah, I mean, it's whatever you take out of it, which
Yeah.
is
But I think
everything.
because-
you know.
I think because it jumped around so much, because it was disjointed, which I know that was kind of part of the film's. It was the film's style also, but I think that made it harder to stay connected to the Anna story
Mm.
It goes back to what
and
we've been-
really feel anything from that. Because like I said, I really didn't, and the most I felt was during that part when she had to move away. But I still wasn't like. It was no Untamed Heart for me. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, like how we were talking about butterfly effect at the beginning of this podcast, which
Mhm.
also jumps around a little bit, and I feel like even that movie did a better job of making you feel connected, even though it jumps around.
I think the
You
big
know?
reason for me with that is that you have a consistent protagonist. You have his core personality, identity, consciousness within all those situations.
Yeah.
Here,
the same
it's
guy.
totally divergent paths, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like this movie a lot because I just happened to watch it at the right time, and I was able to get whatever the director and the writer were putting down. I think he directed
did
and
both.
wrote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever he was putting down, I really just ate up at the time, and I've been able to see it the same way ever since. And so
Huh.
I just happened to watch this. I think at the right, it wasn't a critical thing. It wasn't for a podcast. I just put this movie on and happened to
Right.
connect with it. So
Hey, I tell you what, man, you put on some fucking like smooth piano and you play some long shots from this movie, just like in the background at a bar. That's gonna be some aesthetic ass shit. So
see,
this has
there you
got that
go.
going for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'd say that's the one thing about this movie that you can't really knock it too much on is, like, technically speaking, acting's great, the music's great, it's
Yeah.
filmed beautifully. Like, technically, it's pretty solid in all those
Yeah.
areas.
I'm still gonna rewatch this movie many times.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
So still like it.
I
I'll
know.
probably never watch it again.
So speaking of movies,
Oh yeah.
what are we gonna watch?
The Land Before Time.
Oh,
Oh man, I've been waiting for
tree
somebody
star.
to say that.
Remember that game?
Uh,
Remember that game, Dana?
Tree.
Yeah.
It's either that
True
or
Star?
Never Ending Story. Never Ending Story's top 5.
I love
Top 5.
Neverending Story. Neverending Story is
Never
fucking
Ending
Story.
terrible.
Atreyu.
I
Oh,
love
man.
it.
I haven't seen that one in a
Oh,
long
dude, with
time.
Artax or what the fucking horse name died, dude, that's fucking
Yeah,
brutal,
yeah.
bro.
Artax.
Anthrax?
Fucking
And,
hell.
and that's Anthrax, and that super annoying childlike empress, and that super annoying.
I like how
kid
that's her
in the
name.
movie Is the childlike empress, and then the super annoying kid, Bastion.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
hate that movie so goddamn much, but I love it
Oh, it's
so
so good.
goddamn much.
But Dana, you already mentioned something previously. in this
I started the
What was-
podcast actually with I wanted to do
Jacob's Ladder.
let's do Jacob's Ladder
That-
Okay.
That's it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
a great
All right,
one.
let's do it.
because
Fantastic.
I think that's sort of in the same vein for people who haven't seen it. When
I've
you do
never
watch
seen
it. I think it's sort of in the same vein, and I
Okay.
love this movie. This
It's
is,
Tim Robbins, if I
Yeah,
remember.
Tim Robbins.
Easily one of his best movies.
Adrian Lynn directed it.
Yeah.
It's who else is in it?
Not a lot of people.
Elizabeth-
It's a small
Elizabeth
cast.
Pena. Elizabeth
Yeah.
Pena's in it. She's dead. So there's
Jesus
that.
Great.
Christ.
All right.
Reba
Fun
the
fact.
mail lady. Reba the
Fun
mail
fact.
lady from
Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Pee Wee's Playhouse is in it. So now what do
Yeah.
you got? You guys are like
I
Jason
like the
Alexander from Seinfeld.
Jason Alexander.
Ving Rhames.
Bing
Ving
Rhames,
Rhames is
isn't
in
it? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
totally in.
Well,
Macaulay
Totally.
Culkin,
Yeah,
uncredited.
Macaulay Culkin's in it.
Really?
Credited.
Okay.
Keep going. There's a couple more actors. in
Lewis
there.
Black.
It is under
stand-up
2
comedian.
hours.
Yeah.
So-
It's a great movie.
It-
but
yeah.
I will say I haven't seen it in like 15 years.
Oh,
so
great.
I don't know how it ages for me.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's-
mean,
I
I,
watched
love
it again
movies
recently.
that
I love
are
it.
in this style as long as they have substance. So
When did it come out, Brent?
1990.
1990.
Yeah,
It's a psychological horror.
it is.
Horror. Okay, I'm totally in.
So it's more
It's-
Donnie
it's-
Darko-ish than this one was.
And it's shot with this beautiful film stock that is a nightmare
Mhm.
vision, and it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Danny Aiello's in it.
Yeah.
You're like, who the fuck is that? He's an actor. I can tell you that much.
It's good enough for me.
Watch this, right,
Yeah.
Daryl?
It's
I think so.
Yeah, we
it's-
watched this
It's
little
really
podcast.
interesting because I feel like the story itself really hits hard for me in retrospect without any spoilers. Whereas I'm very interested to see how the style of the movie will fit with me now. I remember the
Okay.
story very well.
When was the last time you saw this movie, Brent?
Oh,
Long
early
time
mid
ago?
2000s. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
We,
Jacob's
did
Ladder.
we, like I said, I thought we watched this for the last podcast. Danny, you didn't see it then,
I don't think we
We
did.
didn't watch this, in
right,
the last
Jeremy? Did we
Yeah.
not do this for long? I guess we didn't. Must not-
We
talked
watched
about it.
this. I think you and I sat down to watch it. I think just to watch it.
Huh?
This might have been after
You
I left when you
guys
guys went on a
watched
movie
a
watching
movie-
binge.
So they without
Yeah.
having to talk about it immediately afterwards.
That's what they used to do this all the time. Like right after I left, is they would get together, a few of them, and watch just movies. Right?
Yeah.
Like
What the
Vince
fu-
would go.
Who just watches movies?
Yeah. Well, who else?
What are you
watched
talking
it
about?
with us?
Ben, you're getting
I'm-
mad
I
again.
think
I'm being
I
being
think
absurd.
Vince
I watch
was
about
there.
one
I don't
movie a
remember.
day on
I know,
average,
right?
probably.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of a hot, like a, I don't know, just a few of us got together and just watched a movie. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I think
I
Sorry.
can't remember the
was.
last time I watched a movie without immediately getting on the podcast and talking about it. To be honest,
I watch. That's all I do is watch movies. I don't.
Yeah.
I watch
Same
movies
here.
instead of stuff. Everything. You
Yeah.
know. So if I'm gonna, like, if I'm gonna sit down and eat a taco for 2 minutes, I'm gonna watch a 2-hour movie.
That's the
Yeah.
thing for me. Like watching TV or movies is always set with everything else that someone has to do to live, eating,
Yeah.
drinking,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
the
You guys
movie, a
treat
movie or
movies
TV show
like
has to
anime.
be there.
Okay.
Yeah, see,
Now it's
see,
starting to make
you're
sense
getting
to
it.
me.
You're getting it. Well, yeah, like I mean, movies have been such an integral part of my life for forever because of my dad. So it's just something that's been ingrained in me as well. Like if I'm cooking dinner, I'll be thinking about what movie I'm going to be putting on.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So
I
sit
will
down and
go
watch
prepare the
dinner.
film.
Yeah,
Start it.
Yes.
yeah. So
Pause
it's
it.
streaming.
Go
It's
finish
ready
my
to go.
hot dogs.
Yeah.
And come back.
Yeah,
When I first heard about this podcast from Ben and Dana, I was like, movies are my life.
yeah.
that's
I
right.
didn't
Brent
realize
is-
until we had you on this, and I was like, "Holy shit, you are not
No,
kidding."
Brent knows movies like the back of his hand.
I don't really
you
meet a
do.
lot of people that love movies the way that my dad and I do. Like Jeremy's
Yeah.
I
Jeremy's
will-
got some really good picks and stuff, and he's seen a lot of stuff that I
Yeah.
haven't. But
My-
even still, like
my
there's
shelf.
a oh yeah, like it's insane. So Jeremy's one of the few
I
people
love
that I
movies.
know that kind of like gets with the two, and Doug, of course, because he's a Waters. So it's just kind of in the Waters
Oh,
blood.
yeah, Doug's got a
So-
ridiculous collection that rivals the Vatican's porn collection.
Yeah.
Like even
That's-
Brent, like I'll say a movie and Brent, you'll know what it is and have seen it. That,
Oh,
that
yeah.
surprises me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it surprised me
Yeah.
too.
'Cause I watch a
think-
lot of shit, especially back in the old days. I watched.
Is that a tub, Doug? Is that a
It's a
What's
a
that?
Doug tub.
That right there is my Blu-ray player and holds
Oh, shit.
400 discs,
oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god. Okay.
and I can
but he
shuffle them.
jammed an extra
Oh,
100.
yeah.
on it.
Shuffle
And
them.
I've actually got I've got a stack of over 100 right over there.
Yeah.
When,
Wow.
when I
So-
first moved out of my parents' house, though, this is pre DVDs, pre Netflix, pre all this garbage, right? We still did the movies a lot. I was going to 2 movies a week easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Easily. I mean, I watched again Jurassic Park when it came out. I watched it 6 times in the theater.
Yeah.
When what's the movie with the guy? Came out in 1984. Pulp Fiction. I watched that 5 or 6 times in the theater.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm now the old man that yells at Cloud when it comes to movie theaters. Like when we and Doug went and saw The Green Knight, my anxiety was through the roof before the movie started because I thought somebody's going to ruin it for me. which is what
Mm.
sucks because I love going to the fucking movie theater so goddamn much.
When
Right.
you move to
know,
Austin,
it
you won't
sucks
have to
it's
worry
been-
about that anymore.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh, trust
same.
me. In April when I moved there, I'm first like we saw the Alamo the other day, went to the bowling
Yeah.
alley. I was like,
Mm.
this is where I'm going to live. Is it the fucking Alamos?
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
just. I don't even give a shit about the food and the beer. I just want to sit in the movie theater where it goes dark and no one fucking talks. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I want
Mhm.
to be immersed. And that's what was so great about the Green Knight experience was nobody talked during it. So I was able to get immersed, which is
Mhm.
all I want. I just want,
Yeah.
like, I'm not a sports guy. So I understand that people
Yeah.
watch basketball and baseball and shit so they can be immersed in something
Sure.
and not worry about how shitty life is for fucking however many hours or seasons or innings or whatever the shit is, right? I get it. Movies are that for me. I just want 2
Yeah.
hours where I'm immersed in something and I don't have to worry about how shitty life is. That's all it is. You mean so the fact that that's been ruined for me at movie theaters really, really sucks, which again creates all that anxiety for me when I go see a movie like we did with The Green Knight. And
Yeah.
you know, it sometimes will fuck up the movie for me because I'm so worried that someone's gonna fuck up the movie for me.
Nice.
That's
terrible.
yeah. That's
That's
Yeah.
anxiety in a
And
nutshell.
I realize
That's,
I'm extremely neurotic, but because of that, but it is
Yeah.
what it is. So
Now I'm
Mhm.
the same way, but I don't consume quite as many movies because I also really love TV, and I really like sinking my teeth into a good show.
Oh yeah.
So I'm always sort of splitting my time between a show or two that I really love and I'm really getting into.
what's good
Yeah.
right now? Because I haven't watched anything since.
Oh, Halston is really good on Netflix.
I haven't started that yet.
It's really good.
Want to see
Surprisingly
that. Yeah.
good.
The
I
Boys,
just-
I guess, was the last thing I watched that I really liked.
Have you
The
seen
first
Dark?
one I really liked.
Dark
first
on
season.
Netflix.
Ooh, Dark is really good.
Mhm.
Dark was I really like the first season, but Dark is hard to stay with
It is.
because of the German language.
It's such a puzzle of a show. It gets
It is.
way in depth. It's worth it, but it's
I watched the first season, really, really liked it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's harder, and I watch a lot of foreign language films. Japanese is okay with
Yeah.
the subtitles.
I do love me
Spanish is
some
even easier
Japanese
because
stuff.
that is a Latin-based language. But man, German, it was really hard to stick with it, even with the subtitles, of course, because I don't
Yeah.
speak German. But man, it made it harder for me to
Yeah.
watch it.
Mhm.
That's fair. Yeah,
You know,
and,
we're-
and you know, at some point, I was watching it with two friends during quarantine, rewatching first season and then continuing through second and third.
Mm.
And at some point, we were busy cooking or whatever, and we're like, let's put on the English dubs, and it just sounds like the
Yeah.
worst soap opera actors you could ever
It-
hear.
it's
It's
not.
And the German actors are fantastic. So it's
Yeah.
like you have to have it with just subtitles.
There's
Yeah.
actually something magical about subtitles, which is like, because Jeremy's the TV guy, I'm the fucking anime guy. I watch a lot of anime, and like with anime, dude, fucking dubs are very hit or miss. There's very few dubs that are actually good, but like pretty much every sub is gonna be palatable because you can't actually tell whether or not it's good acting. You just, I mean, you don't fucking speak
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
language. You don't know if the
Yeah.
delivery is good. All you can hear is the emotion. And as long as the emotion is like on key, then it's like, who
And
fucking
generally
cares if the delivery is
yeah.
good?
The
Yeah.
emotion is going to be more on key with the sub.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
first several times we watched Spirited Away was the English dub, and now I've since many years ago switched to the sub version because it's just better.
It's
that
so
way.
good.
Mhm.
And when me and Amron used to go to Ghibli Fest every year, and watch all those movies, and we'd always there was an English dub first night and the subtitle version the second night. We would always go to the subtitle version. It's just a better way. It's the way
Yeah.
the movie was originally intended, and it's better to. And I know some people don't like reading movies. It doesn't bother me. It becomes part of it, especially because I'm old now and I can't fucking hear anymore. I watch everything with subtitles. Plus
I
the way they
watched this
Yeah.
movie with subtitles, man. Are you
the way
fucking
they
kidding me?
compress sound for the last 20 fucking years, all the explosions are super loud and the
Horrible.
dialogue super quiet.
Horrible.
Yeah.
This
You
movie
have
this
to.
movie was really guilty of that in few
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
have to watch it with the subtitles. You can't fucking hear it anyways. And now that I've gotten older and
Yeah.
I can't hear anymore.
There
I
were some
watch everything
scenes that I thought
subtitles.
they were deliberately trying to mask what a character was saying in this movie.
Apparently, we talked about this. I don't know how long ago that we talked about this movie, but fucking Tenet did
Yeah.
that on
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
it's
it
terrible.
bothered
That
the
was
hell out of
unfortunate.
me. I watched it
Yeah.
twice
Yeah.
in theaters, and both times I was like, "This can't be right." but apparently
Yeah.
that's what they were.
Tenet was another movie that is
Just
just
kidding.
we've talked about it before. I just couldn't like care enough for, even though
Yeah,
I appreciated how everything was done. It's like
Yeah.
Too much
Talk
work.
about
Whatever.
presumptuous.
All right,
Yeah,
so I
was
do want to
reading
say
today that Tenet
Very
like
presumptuous.
has become the hate child of the internet lately. Like
Yeah.
anytime
Yeah.
Tenet gets
I think
brought
people
up,
have kind of
are
like
"Fuck
they've kind of realized how not
It sucks.
incredible Christopher Nolan can be. You know, it
Now,
happens to
I'll tell you
everybody.
this:
You make
Tenet
it-
is more entertaining than this movie.
That is
I
absolutely
was
true.
entertained, for
I
sure.
would give Tenet. I'm sure I did.
I
give
would
Tenet a
agree with
higher
that
score
because
than
Tenet
this.
is a thriller movie, and it's kind
Yeah,
of
it was
designed that
it
way.
was fun. It was fun
So-
to watch just because it's
Yeah.
got some fun action.
Yeah.
So Liz does say that Clickbait is a new limited series. I've heard about that. I actually do want to check that out. I've heard
I
that's very
have
good.
not started that, and that's my next show I'm going to watch.
That's my next
Yeah.
one too. After
With
after I
Adrian
finish
Grenier.
Halston, yeah, I'm gonna start Clickbait. And then Brennan says, and I did the same thing, Brennan, very recently. But he says I very much enjoy going and seeing movies on my own, especially horror movies. And every time someone is always talking or something. I actually started going and watching movies on my own when I moved to Austin initially, because I mean I didn't know anybody, and so I would just I watched Venom on my own. Terrible movie.
I saw
It was
Venom
all right.
again.
It was all right. Sorry, Jer. But like I went and I watched his movies on my own. I went and saw Green Knight on my own, and I really like just going and watching a movie in a giant theater, with a great sound and all that stuff. And of course, nobody talks in Austin, which is fantastic. So I'm actually getting immersed. It's like the best, absolutely the best. And then you
Oh, yeah.
leave and you don't have to talk to anybody about what you just saw. You can kind of just like think about it
So
on your way
can
to
we
the
go
car.
watch
great.
Candyman
Congrats.
separately in the theater? Like,
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
actually like, because it's hard to say if I'm a fan of the original Candyman. I definitely saw it in the
I am.
theater, and it had I had emotional response to it for sure. Like it scared me,
yeah.
and it's a weird movie.
This new one's supposed to be very well rated.
That's
supposed
what I
to be
heard.
very
I heard
good.
the new one's
Mm.
supposed to be really, really good. So I
also
think,
starring King the Conqueror.
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I saw the preview for Candyman. I don't feel like they gave the movie away. I mean,
Yeah.
if I don't know, is it a remake? Is it a remake?
It's
or
a
sequel?
continuation of the story.
Okay, okay.
The
I'm interested in
character
it.
is one of the characters from the original.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was
didn't realize-
interested
it was
in
a
seeing
reboot.
it.
I thought it was a
Because
reboot
it's hard
too.
to tell.
The main character was the kid that was saved in one of the original movies, but it's been so long
Okay.
I haven't seen the originals in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And the
original's got
director,
Xander
the director
Berkeley in
is
it.
doing the Marvels for MCU, so they're kind of carrying over these like high quality writer directors in these horror movies, which is great.
Yeah.
I do want to say that we should end this soon because I have a lot of work I still need to do tonight, and we've been going for 2.5 hours.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have a score to write. So,
Speaking
Yeah.
of writing scores.
Humble
We also
brag.
have
Humble
a-
brag.
Oh, there
dude,
you go.
I know.
We also
Well,
have a video and
I
an
actually have
album
a
and-
shit to take.
I
so.
yeah,
Nice.
Ben. When are you coming over
Okay.
so we can finish this goddamn album?
I don't. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
we
get there
can
eventually.
figure that out, yeah, all right.
Well, there's no need to rush it now. We've only been working on it for a year and a half.
Yeah. What's the hurry?
Yeah, if I see, it's like when you're playing a really good video game and you don't want to finish it because then it's over. If once we finish the album, then it's done. That's lame.
Yeah,
Let's just never finish it.
I really want to listen to the album. It's
We've
just,
got
I know.
full
See, it's
circle.
the anticipation.
exactly
As
what
soon
we
as
were
you listen
talking
to it,
about.
you're like, man, that was really good, and I'm never gonna be able to get that anticipation again. So let's just never
look,
finish
Jeremy
it.
is 100% right. If we had just whipped out the album, it would have been like the best thing ever. But now we've been working on it for so long.
We've
that, like,
overthought it.
Sat on it too.
We've
Yeah.
overthought it. We, and
You literally
that
told
is
me
how
once,
you-
Dan, and you're like, "Yeah, I have to do all the guitars over again."
Yep, several times. Several times I've had to do
Yeah,
them all
we've
over
had
again.
to do that. Yeah,
Because I learned
it's
a
like
new way to
fourth
record
time.
guitars, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, all the old stuff sounds like shit. Speaking of which, I have no segue out of this, so let's go ahead and end this thing. So,
I love you.
so I guess we're doing
Bye.
Jacob's Ladder next week, so tune in for that. Discord is down below. Join it. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Next week. We'll see you. We'll see you then. Toodaloo. And let me not end the
Bye.
Zoom call like last week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hang up on us all.